Next lecture is on ozone in autism and neurodevelopmental disorders by Dr. Alok Sharma. Dr. Alok Sharma is a distinguished neurosurgeon and a researcher who is the director of Neurogen Brain and Spine Institute at KLS Wellness Institute, Navi Mumbai, India. His pioneering work in cellular therapy for neurological disorders has earned him international recognition and, most importantly, has brought new hope to patients and family worldwide. He has treated over 15,000 patients. My God. From one, not two different countries on all 6 continents, and Neurogen BSI, and published 156 significant papers and 24 books, 21 chapters in international and national textbook. Dr. Alok Sharma, over to you.
Good afternoon, everybody. At the outset, I'd like to thank Dr. Mili, Dr. Jignasa, and the entire OFI team, not just for arranging this conference, but for all the wonderful work that they do, for all the inspiration and guidance that they provide, and for all the people whose lives they touch, including myself, as I will show you. So I'm primarily a neurosurgeon, and though my topic I was asked to speak on ozone in autism and neurodevelopmental disorders, I'm going to talk about how did I get there. I'm a neurosurgeon. I specialize in regenerative medicine. And how did ozone come into my life? So basically, I'll be talking a little bit about ozone therapy in COVID, my own personal experience, how we used it as a preventive treatment for healthcare workers, a clinical trial we did, and another non-randomized control study. Then we'll talk a little bit about anti-aging, and then the main topic, which is autism and neurodevelopmental disorders. So, ozone in COVID. In COVID, I was professor and head of neurosurgery at the medical college, and we did a clinical trial on stem cells in COVID-19. And to do this clinical trial, I had to be in the ICU in the middle of a whole lot of very serious patients. Also, this is our hospital, this is the Neurogen Brain and Spine Institute. And for the COVID period, this had been converted into a dedicated COVID hospital with 75 patients. Now imagine having to deal with 75 patients in one hospital, see them every day, and then also do this clinical trial. And at that time, I realized it's impossible to not be exposed. So the one thing that I had to do was to protect myself internally, so that it didn't make a difference. There is no way you see 75 to 100 patients every day and don't get exposed. And so, this was my personal experience. That's me with Jignasa and Diliji. I used to have Diliji on my left side, Jignasa on my right side, getting major and minor auto. This, my dear friends, kept me alive. This actually kept me alive. For the amount of exposure I had to COVID, the fact that I got away without any major illness is because I took, on a weekly basis, sometimes 15-day basis, I had my blood extracted, ozone was put, okay, and this really seriously helped me keep going. Because I used to work, even without PPE, I stopped wearing PPE. I should just wear a mask, okay. And still, I didn't fall ill primarily because of this. So this was my introduction, my personal introduction, taking major auto during the COVID pandemic. And then, once I started, and when our hospital converted to a COVID hospital, we actually did something interesting. So this is a paper you will see. It's intravenous ozone for prophylaxis for healthcare workers. So what did we do? So when our hospital, we were a neurological hospital, it converted to COVID, I gave all the staff an option to take IV ozone saline as a prophylaxis, because I had taken major auto. 64 said they would do it, 171 did not. Did you understand that? So we have 235 employees. I offered them, we are now becoming a COVID hospital. I have taken protection with Ozone. So 64 said they would, 171 said they would not. So that's the dosage, how we would give IV saline. And here are the results. The ones who took Ozone, only 4.6% became positive during the course of our being a COVID hospital. And those who did not, it was 14.3. So there was a significant difference between those who took COVID, 4.6, and those who took Ozone and those who didn't. Then we broke down this data into red zone, which is the ICU, orange zone, which is the wards, and green zone, which was the administrative area where there were no patients. So in the ICU, those who took Ozone, 8.6% of the staff, 8.6% of those became positive, whereas in the ones who did not take Ozone, it was 15. The ones in the orange zone was the wards, again 4 versus 20, that's a significant difference. And in the non-clinical area, 0 versus 3.5. So this is among the, I don't know if there's any paper published which looked at Ozone as a prophylaxis for healthcare workers, but we did that. And then we did a CTRI registered clinical trial using Ozone in moderate COVID patients, and again this is published as a paper. Here's my suggestion, by the way. You'll see I'm going to be presenting a lot of my results in the form of papers. And here is my request, especially those of you who are younger, please document your work and publish it. The world will only recognize your work if it is published in peer-reviewed scientific papers. I know so many of you here doing wonderful work, but there is no documentation. So please document and publish. And you'll notice, of course, in all our papers, you will notice our co-author being Billy, and you'll notice Jignasa as well. So we're always there, we always publish together. So anyway, this was a study, we did a clinical study, and we again gave ozonized saline. This is very interesting. We found in all our papers the oxygenation, you can see these values, improved significantly. So excellent oxygenation improvement, and all the inflammatory parameters came down. All of them. You can see whether it's the CRP, the D-dimer, the LDH, the IL-6, everything came down using saline. So we documented our data. We didn't just give Ozone. We did the blood investigations, we documented the improvements, and most important, published it in scientific, and these are prestigious journals. These are not, like for this journal, this is an Alzheimer's journal. So we published them all in PubMed Index journals. So this was the proof that it worked. And this is then what we did was, prior to the clinical trial, we had 254 patients. We had 300 patients who had the standard treatment for COVID. And then we had 254 patients who got IV Ozone plus standard treatment. And we then compared the data. You can see the duration of stay was lesser in the Ozone group 8 as compared to the non-Ozone. The use of oxygen 4 as compared to 8. The average duration of ICU stay, you'll notice significant difference, 5 versus 8. And among the recovery, 90% good recovery, 76 in the standard, and no mortalities in the Ozone group. So that was about the COVID. And then at that time, we had set up a new hospital facility, a dedicated anti-aging hospital, one of the country's first and exclusively dedicated hospitals for anti-aging. And then we decided that we are going to actually use Ozone as part of our treatment. So here we don't use Ozone only. We use a combination of treatments of which Ozone is an integral part. And this is been my message to various, I take these talks at IMA forums, different doctors forums, annual conferences, and I say it works together. We have to use all of these treatments together. So what we do in our anti-aging, we have hyperbaric oxygen, we have Ozone, we give IV vitamins, we do hydrocolon therapy, we have a lymphatic drainage system, we have a microcirculation improvement technique, we use light therapy, deep tissue mobilization, acupressure. Then we use various Ayurvedic treatments from Bisleri, Shirodhara, infrared sauna. We have a ozone sauna as well, different forms of rehab, yoga, diet, etc. So this combination of treatments, and that is how it goes. We have a 1-week program, and you're busy through the whole day. You can see there is from medical consultation, we do blood investigation, ozone, hyperbaric, gut cleansing. So over 1 week, all these treatments happen, of which ozone, 7 sessions, is a part of the treatment program. So I wish to state that ozone, once again I'm repeating it, it's part of an integral program. Now, the good news about anti-aging is that today there is a simple blood test available which actually tells you how your cells are aging. In other words, with a simple blood test today, it can be predicted how long you're going to live, barring your not having an accident, cancer, heart attack, etc. This test is called the telomere test. It's a fascinating test. It's a blood test. Okay, I'll tell you a little bit more about telomeres. So, so not only can you actually know that your cellular age, when you do treatments, you can see what is happening. Like blood sugar. Blood sugar tells you whether you have diabetes or not, and if you take a treatment, you will get to know whether your diabetes is coming under control. So, in anti-aging, what is happening is there is a lot of understanding about what is happening at the cellular or subcellular level. This is a separate talk all by itself, I can't go into details, but there is everything from nutrient signal dysfunction, DNA dysfunction, problems with macrophages, stem cell exhaustion, cell signaling. So all these factors are there. Earlier, anti-aging was about cosmetology. You just made yourself beautiful and pretty, or you lost weight. Today, it shifted to healing at a cellular level, in fact at a subcellular level. Because if your fundamental cells are healthy, the whole body is going to be healthy and disease-free. The human body is not programmed to be ill. In fact, if we have evolved from animals, and in the animal kingdom, you don't have any of the illnesses we have. These illnesses are illnesses we actually take onto ourselves. So understanding this is extremely important. So what are telomeres? So this is a gene, this is a chromosome. You're all familiar with the X chromosome. At the tip of the chromosome is this thing called telomere. When we are born, the telomere is at its maximum size, and as we age, this keeps on decreasing. And when this becomes 0, that is the time the cell is going to die, that's the time you will also not be able to live anymore. So depending on the size of your telomere, you can actually know your cellular age. So when telomeres become shorter in age, you die more quickly. In other words, telomere length is an indication of your biological age. But here's the good news. The good news is our telomeres say that we can live up to a maximum of 120 years. The human body can't live more than 120. But 120 it can. In fact, the oldest lady recorded survived lived for 122 years. So this is the maximum that we can live. Now, it has been shown that people with cancers, many of the terminal diseases, they have shorter telomeres. Now, this is a very interesting study on telomeres, lifestyle and aging. This is a very, very interesting study. This was done by Dean Ornish, and this is published in this paper. What he did was, it's a 5-year study. He basically took 2 groups of patients, and one group got a plant-based diet, that's a vegetarian diet, 30 minutes of exercise, yoga, meditation, and once a week social support. Just look at this, I want you to see this very carefully. Vegetarian diet, 30-minute exercise, yoga, meditation, and once a week a 60-minute social activity. So he divides them into 2 groups. This is the intervention, then the control is no lifestyle change. And see what happens with the telomeres. The ones where the intervention has happened, the telomeres actually increase in size. The ones who haven't, they actually decrease. This is a natural decrease. In all of us, our telomeres decrease. Now, I want you to see this. This is a very important slide. Look at this. If you continue with your lifestyle the way it is, your telomeres will become less. 4 simple interventions, and I want to highlight them for their simplicity. A vegetarian diet, exercise, yoga, meditation and social support reverses it from here to here. But this took 5 years. This is a 5-year study. So here's the anti-aging study I did on myself. This is very interesting, okay. What I did was, I was 60 years old when I did my telomeres, and it showed my telomeres to be 85. I said, oh my God, the end is near. My cells are saying that I'm 85, and I was very frightened. So then I started taking treatment at my own hospital facility, oxygen-based therapy, which is hyperbaric and everything. And after 40 days, my cellular age reduced from 85 to 70. In other words, 40 days of oxygen-based therapies gave me 15 years more of life. This is science, okay. Then I said, okay, this is good, let me continue with this. So I did more, and subsequently, you know, it actually brought it down to 65, which is not bad, alright. And then I continued a little more, and then I got it to match. So my cellular age and my biological age are now matching. So this is what happened. It was 65 before. I took 40 sessions, brought it to 70, and then again, and then again. And so over a period of 120 days, I could actually control. In other words, aging can be controlled and possibly reversed by simple oxygen-based therapies. There are scientific papers to that effect, and this is me. This is my blood test. All right. And this is again, but like I said, we publish everything. So please, I'm going to keep saying this again and again to everybody in this room. If we want the world to accept ozone therapy, hyperbaric therapy, please publish. Please, but to publish, you have to document. So there has to be thorough documentation. Invest in that. Appoint research officers if you don't have time, but document. So this is a paper that we published where we actually showed the effects of anti-aging therapies on quality of life. This is in the Journal of Science and Research. And this is what we studied, and we found different things like energy levels, memory loss, mood swings, exertion dyspnea, sleep issues, joint pain, cramps, bloating, acidity, appetite, urinary incontinence, skin dryness, laxity. All of them, okay, they improved, and improved in significant amount of patients. So you can see, in some it's 100%, some it's 75%, some it's 88%. So this is the improvement after 1 week of treatment. This is not the 80 days which I took, this is 1 week. And the telomere length, you can see, so the average of the patients before was 5.4, it reduced to 5.8 in terms of age. It was 74 before, average, it became 70. So all the people who took this 1 year treatment got, from a science point of view, from a cellular point of view, 4 years addition to life. And this is data, is a little confusing, but these are different individuals. So you can see the increase in this is each patient, and this is what their age was before, and you can see everyone has had a little increase after the 1 week treatment. And we converted this into a book, which all of you have. Please read it. It's a very simple book. It's a very easy to do. It's very easy to practice. Okay, so please read this book. Now I come to the main topic. I mentioned all that to let you know how I got into this. So first myself, COVID, and then anti-aging. So let's look at autism and other neurodevelopmental disorders. What exactly is autism? So autism is what we call a neurodevelopmental disorder. It's now referred to as a spectrum disorder. And the problems are that of social interaction, communication, and repetitive behavior. The thing that most people don't realize is the massive increase in the incidence of autism. This is a graph from the CDC, Center for Disease Control of the United States of America. It's the most authentic data on autism on the planet. Now look at this. In 2000 and in the year 2000, you can see over here it was 1 in 150. Now you keep seeing year-wise, and it became 1 in 125, 1 in 110, 1 in 88, 1 in 59. 3 years ago it was 1 in 54. Now it is 2 years ago 1 in 44. This year it is 1 in 36. Now, nothing has changed, and I just want you to imagine that if this continues the way this is continuing, in the next year this will be something like 1 in 25, and then it will be 1 in 15, and then it will be 1 in 10, and then 1 in 5, and then what? Autism will become the new normal. It's already happening. The man who's changing America, Elon Musk, has autism. He talks about his autism. Recently, Bill Gates gave an interview. He described his autism. He said very clearly as a child he had autism. A lot of these tech geniuses, they all have had some degree of autism or ADHD. These are people who are changing the world. All right. So this is what is happening. Now, it's important to understand this because the world is not ready for being able to treat so many patients. Now, we've done some original research. We were the first to show, this is a PET CT scan, and on the PET scan, this is the blue part. So the blue part is the part which is hypometabolic or damaged, and we were the first to publish a paper. This is the paper in the World Journal of Nuclear Medicine that showed there are parts of the brain which are damaged. So we saw some parts which are damaged, but we also found parts of the brain that work more. That's why kids with autism have genius in them, and we have identified which parts of the brain work more. We also did MRI scans, and we found that the bridge, this is all our publications, that the bridge that connects the right and the left side of the brain is also smaller in these kids. So this is our data from that paper. You can see that the corpus callosum is smaller. We found different things. We found that they have low vitamin D levels. We found changes in vitamin B12. We found decreased oxytocin levels, elevated homocysteine levels. We found a gene mutation. So there's lots of things that we are finding as we are treating these patients. We've been doing the gut microbiome test, and we are finding an increased incidence of E. coli, Shigella. We are finding fungal infections there, aspergillosis. Basically, this is pointing to is that autism is a mitochondrial disorder. There's a problem with the mitochondria, which is why ozone and hypomeric oxygen comes into place. So these are the signs of oxidative dysfunction. Cerebral palsy is another neurodevelopmental condition where the brain is more severely damaged. You can see this is blue, the damage is more severe. It's a hypoxic ischemic injury, and also intellectual disability that earlier was called mental retardation. Now we don't use that word, it's called ID. And these are the traditional treatments available, but these don't take care of the fundamental problem. Now here's the most interesting data. Between 2008 and 2019, we only did stem cell therapy with rehab. But after our experience with COVID, we added ozone and hyperbaric oxygen to our treatment protocol. And I want to show you the difference between the results of these two. So how do we do this treatment? Basically, we do a bone marrow aspiration, separate the mononuclear cells, and then inject it behind. So a bone marrow aspiration under local anesthesia, separating in the lab, and through a lumbar puncture we inject it inside. That's all. So these are the publications. The world's first publication was actually by us. It came from India. The second from China, Italy, the United States. So it's a matter of pride. When I say the world's first paper, I never say it's published by us. I say it's published from India. And it is really, because this is something nobody can take away from you. There's only one, the first person to climb Mount Everest, the first person to land on the moon, and the world's first paper on cell therapy in autism. We published this is our data. So 91% of our patients showed improvement in all these symptoms. Another paper was published in 2020 in a very prestigious journal, the American Journal of Stem Cells. This was a larger sample, 254 patients. And again, we saw that various symptoms from social interaction, eye contact, attention, stereotypical behavior, aggressive behavior, so all these symptoms, they improved. On the scales, the Indian scale for autism and the CAR scale, that also showed statistically significant improvement. Here's something interesting. We found that the improvement is age dependent. So below 5 years, we had a 97.7% success rate. Between 5 to 10 years, it dropped to 94. From 10 to 15, it became 94 and 91 after 15. So the earlier you treat, the better it is, because when you treat early, you get better results. An objective improvement, so this is on a Siemens PET scan, it's done on two machines, Siemens and GE. So this is a Siemens machine, you can see the blue is the hypometabolic, the damaged inactive part, and post, you can see this damage has improved. You can see, so this is objective proof. We showed the world for the first time that the damage in the kids of brains with autism can be reversed. And this is on a GE machine, again the damage before, and here you can see the damage has improved. So we got a total of 15 papers in autism, chapters in textbooks as well. In cerebral palsy, it was not the world's first paper, but this was our paper in 2015. And again, various improvements in all the symptoms, in quadriplegic CP, in miscellaneous CP as well. And here is proof, the damage before, and you can see that the damage is gone. So this is objective proof that with cellular therapy you can improve this damage. We've got again 15 papers on cerebral palsy, chapters in European textbooks, cell therapy, this is chapters written by us. In intellectual disability as well, this is again the world's first paper on cell therapy in intellectual disability, again published by us. And this is a controlled study. So in the blue are patients who took cell therapy and rehab, and you can see the improvement. In orange are the patients who took only rehab. So so you can see everywhere cell therapy and rehab had more improvement than the controls who took only rehab in all the symptoms. And again, this is the damage before after, 4 papers on intellectual disability. Now, what we did is we added hyperbaric and ozone to our treatment regimen 5 years ago. Now we all know about ozone, so I'm not going to go into the details as to how it is given. What is ozone, we all know in this conference. And there are various papers, these are not our papers, that actually showed it helping in disabled kids. This is the various mechanisms. I'm almost done. The pathophysiology of and how it helps. So potential benefits. This is how we use it. We use ear ozone. So you can see the ear ozone. We give rectal ozone and we do ozone cupping. So this is ozone given through the ear. And how it works, it diffuses through the eardrum. It gets absorbed by the lymphatic and blood circulation. There is a transport in the cranial nerves. And it has anti-inflammatory effects. So this is just a short video to show how it is given. That it's very easy, no problem at all. And then we do ozone cupping. This is something which in recent works, this is the advantage of this workshop. We weren't doing cupping till 6-7 months ago. When in our workshop identified by Millie and done, you actually told us, you showed us this, and now we've started doing this. So we've actually introduced cupping, and this is the rationale. I'm almost done. You can see they put this in cream, and then they do the cupping. So this is something recent, less than a year ago, learned by us from a workshop organized by OFI, and this helps in their speech. Rectal insufflation, so this we find again very useful. We target and kill the harmful pathogens and rebalance the gut microbiome. Gut cleansing is done. I'm going to run through fast. We combine this with hyperbaric oxygen. So we believe that both work synergistically. And basically, when you breathe oxygen at 1 atmospheric pressure, only the hemoglobin of your RBC carries oxygen. But when you give it under high pressure, the entire plasma is full of oxygen. So we are using HBOT as well. Now the combination, so we are going to compare, this is the last few slides, only cell therapy and cell therapy with oxygen-based therapies. So 1,446 patients, 701 only cell therapy, okay, and 732 cell therapy with both. And you can see the difference, 87% of the patients improve with only cell therapy, 91 when we combined it with ozone and hyperbaric. And this is just to show you this, again, you can see the symptoms, social interaction, eye contact. Everywhere, when you add ozone and hyperbaric, the percentage is more than just cell therapy. and same thing with the scales as well. And alright, this is raw data. Again, the PET CT scans showed that when you combine both, the improvement was better. And this is again the outcome of cell therapy in cerebral palsy. That was autism. This is cerebral palsy. So basically, then sometimes people ask, why both? So what SBOT does is it helps in delivery of oxygen, and what Ozone does is it enhances the utilization and metabolism. So that's why they work in synergy. So I want to say that they work in synergy. The question of which works more on it, that's not the point. They work together. A perfect example of anti-aging, he does yoga. He also is very devoted to special needs kids and done a lot of work in that. I'm very fortunate that in a book that I have written, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has written an introduction. I don't think he's written an introduction for any other medical doctor. This is a book on muscular dystrophy, a condition very close to his heart. So I have an introduction by him, and that is myself presenting with a copy of the book. And I'd like to end with a short, this is the last slide, a short video of him talking about this treatment in Parliament.
तो जापान मेरे कार्यक्रम में मैंने एक कार्यक्रम क्या जोड़ा, मैं वहाँ एक नोबेल लॉरिएट साइंटिस्ट यकामा को मिलने गया। मैं इसलिए दिया गया कि उन्होंने स्टेम सेल के अंदर जो रिसर्च की है, मैंने जितना पढ़ा था तो मेरे मन में आया था शायद इनकी एक खोज हमारे काम आ सकती है क्या। हम गए तो वहाँ गए, उनसे चर्चा की, और बेंगलोर के हमारे साइंस इंस्टीट्यूट था, आज उस दिशा में हमारा काम हो रहा है कि स्टेम सेल्स के द्वारा हमारे युवा साइंटिस्ट कुछ खोज करें।
So that is the Prime Minister of our country talking about the treatment of the dementia. I want to thank you for your attention. And my advice to all of you, parting advice, please, we all are doing wonderful work. Document and publish. Thank you.
The inspiration to write that book were, one of the inspiration was Dr. Alok Sharma, and I have not been able to meet him for the last 2 years. So sir, this book is great. Thank you. I wanted to give it personally, and nothing better than this stage. Thank you, sir. Thank you. और momento है वापस.
Give it up for Dr. Billy, everyone. Loudly clapping. Now let's quickly have two more luckiest doctor in the house. We are jumping on to the third spin of today. Let's start it. Let us see who's the third luckiest doctor to grab the prize. And Dr. Sam, absent. Dr. Sam Wolf Samir, alright. One more spin. Alright, so Dr. Ravi Gangjwal. Yes. Please come, please come. Winner is Dr. Ravi Gangwal, right?
Okay, so we have Ozone and autoimmunity care.
A big hand for the luckiest third person. Alright, let's hit the last slide, then we'll jump on to the next lecture. One more. Start, please. Dr. Sandhya Mohan. Sandhya ji.
In the morning she...
Gaane ki sazish karengi. Alright, thank you so much for being the luckiest fourth one. Alright, let's jump on to our next lecture. The next lecture is on reversing autoimmune thyroiditis with ozone therapy and integrated medicine by Dr. Preeti Nanda Sigal. Who is clapping here? Come on, give it up. With more than 25 years of rich experience in the health, fitness and wellness domain, Dr. Preeti Sibil is among India's highly successful entrepreneur, motivational speaker and a widely celebrated visionary. Quite big achievement. Dr. Preeti boasts with wealth of knowledge. She is an alumni of a renowned medical college in Amritsar and the prestigious IIM Lucknow. She also holds a fellowship in functional medicine from the George Washington University, USA. She is a certified executive coach from CEC, Florida. She got trained by a Harvard graduate and works closely with him, president of IAFM. Can I have a huge round of applause for Dr. Preeti? Over to you.
Ranveer Singh of Ozone Forum of India.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Millie. Thank you, Dr. Jignasa, and thank you, the OFI team, for organizing this, for creating this awareness and teaching and motivating and inspiring all of us to do beyond our boundaries. So it's not only about Ozone, but it's also about every other integral thing which we are doing today in our practice to help our patients. And before I talk on my topic, I want to tell you, I called Millie 2-3 days back and I asked her, I said, if you have any work, let me know. She said, no, just you come. The simple statement of hers actually told me that she has a great team behind her, because this is no easy feat to organize such a conference so meticulously and nicely. So I think a big round of applause for the whole OFI team, because of which Dr. Millie can really do what she does. And thank you, Millie, for doing what you're doing. Great. So my topic is, hello everybody, and Hashimoto's and ozone therapy. And why am I speaking on this topic? Because unfortunately, about 1.5 years back, I was introduced to this condition. I had Hashimoto's, and I can't tell you, it was such a shock for me that for 4-5 days, I almost went in a shell, asking myself, "Maine aisa kya kiya?" means what did I do to suffer from this condition? Right? Because that's how you feel. I think that's how at least a patient feels, because I was literally not in my space at all for these 4 days. And of course, I have a gift for all of you who actually listen to me in the end. I will give you this, you've already said. Now, interestingly, when I was going through the data, I realized that we talk about cardiovascular diseases all the time. We talk about cancer all the time. But imagine how many people are suffering from autoimmunity, especially post-COVID. So I think we need to talk about autoimmunity more and more and more, because this is which is the biggest problem. Now, when we look at Hashimoto's thyroiditis, let's look at what this butterfly gland is, a thyroid. It is like a thermostat of our body, and when our security system gets hacked, that is when our thermostat is not able to work well, and that condition is what we call Hashimoto's thyroiditis, right? So it's an autoimmune condition, and generally the patient comes with fatigue, weight gain, hair thinning, brain fog, mood swings, and so much more. And is there a difference in the way conventional and functional medicine looks at it? Anybody who would want to share something on this? Is there a difference? I don't think so. What's the difference? Right. So in allopathy, if a patient comes to us, we say, okay, levothyroxine is your treatment, take it and keep feeling as you are feeling now, because most of these patients would not feel better after they are put on medicines, right? But in functional medicine, we actually know that it is not a thyroid problem. Then what problem is it if it's not a thyroid problem? It's a systemic problem. Your whole body is involved in it. Your body was trying to fight it on its own, and when it was not able to, one fine day, it showed up as hypothyroidism, right? So the whole thing changes, and this Harrower's chart is something I think all of us should have in our offices, because Hashimoto's is the #1 autoimmune disease now. Its incidence has surpassed incidence of rheumatoid arthritis presently. Yeah, and if you look at this diagram, you will see that it is connected with almost every system in your body. Now, one very important pearl which I practice in my practice very, very diligently, and anybody who's treating Hashimoto's should know that is, before you start working on Hashimoto's or thyroid, make sure that the adrenals are fixed. At least take first 3 weeks to 6 weeks to fix the adrenals before you put your patient on any thyroid medication. You will see the whole trajectory of the progress of the patient will change. And of course, when we look at the root causes of Hashimoto's, genetics is very important. Dr. Darrell, he always keeps telling hypothyroidism is genetic. Thanks, Dr. Darrell, for speaking it again and again in your presentations. And yes, Hashimoto's does have genetic predisposition, but it is not necessary that if your parents had it, you will have it too. You should just be a little more careful about it. Leaky gut, gut dysbiosis, environmental toxins and heavy metals, chronic infections, nutritional deficiencies, especially selenium, zinc, iodine and vitamin D, and chronic stress and adrenal dysfunction. These are the 6 things which I rule out when I look at a case of Hashimoto's. Yeah? So basically, if we see the 2 antibodies which are very important and we all get them tested, anti-thyroid peroxidase and anti-thyroglobulin. Now, if the anti-thyroglobulin comes high, it means there's early stage, and anti-TPO tells you that it's a later adaptive immune response. Now, I am a gut person. I think a lot of you know that I focus a lot on the gut, so I'm going to go a little more detail on the gut thing. There are a few microbes which, when in imbalance, can be the cause of Hashimoto's. To list some of them, Bacteroides fragilis. If this microbe is in more quantity, it can be the cause of Hashimoto's or Graves. Similarly, Proteobacteria and Klebsiella and Pseudomonas. These are the bacteria which I see very, very commonly in high numbers in Hashimoto's. Especially when I do GI map, this is what I see. And then my USP with all autoimmunity, and I think what makes me feel sad and happy both is H. pylori infection. We all know it is very, very commonly found, especially in the Indian population. But what, at least as an allopathic doctor, I had forgotten, I don't know about some of you sitting here, that it is the leading cause of autoimmune conditions also. Imagine 1962. I was not even born then. That time, Taylor et al. Said that autoimmune thyroid and gut infections are connected, and he spoke about H. pylori. And till few years back, I was never told that I need to look into gut infections if I have an autoimmune patient sitting in front of me. So I think it's sad, but conferences like this help us get better. Now, why is gut and thyroid connected? Any one of you would want to tell that? Of course, the answer is on the screen, but still. Yeah? Because they both have an origin in the endodermal layer. Thyroid gland is the first gland to develop in the fetus in 3rd week of gestation, and the stomach starts to develop around week 4. And stomach and thyroid, though they have a very different function, they share the presence of the sodium and iodine acceptor importer that gives them the ability to concentrate iodine. So gut and thyroid both concentrate iodine, and we know iodine is very, very important for thyroid functions. And therefore, gut really affects thyroid in a big way. Now, when we look at Hashimoto's, of course, there are many mechanisms which have been found to say that gut infections can lead to autoimmunity. Anybody who's really into science, you can take a picture of this slide also. It's nice and it really takes you deep into why all this is happening. Taken the picture? Thank you. Toxoplasma gondii. Again, if IgM of Toxoplasma gondii is higher in patients with autoimmune thyroid, it's been found. 2012, Shapira wrote an article on this. And a lot of parasitic infections, they are the other area where we should be very, very careful. If you get a patient of Hashimoto's, make sure that you take the history from the birthplace till now, where all they have traveled, and try to think if there is any exposure of parasites which the body was not able to handle, which could be the cause of this. Of course, herpes virus can be the cause, but Epstein-Barr virus has been found in studies to be really leading to Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Yersinia enterocolytica is another one microbiome. Please look at the report and see if this is high. Test the antibodies. Because important is a lot of patients, for many, many months or even years, they do not come to you with any symptoms despite the fact that they have high antibodies. If that time you can check their antibodies and work on their gut and the other root causes, that patient would never suffer from the symptoms of hypothyroidism, and of course you will be able to treat quickly. Lactobacillus and bifidobacter balance is very important. We know for every healthy person we need to have it. And people who have SIBO or have imbalance of lactobacillus and bifidobacter will have this. And what is one solution for all these problems? Ozone therapy with gut healing protocol. Of course, ozone works on the gut, but your diet, your stress management all also plays an important role. So even to understand what is happening in our body and how ozone helps us, I would want to invite 12 people on the stage with me. So who all will want to come? Please come here. 12. Please. I want 12 people on the stage because I think we've had a lot of theory. Let's do something so that when we go back, we are not able to forget this. 12 people, please. I thought we all would be very quick. Ozone, we are full of oxygen, but it looks like no, we are not, right? I know, Dr. Sylvia. Okay, yeah, we've opened this, great, right? So now I'm going to give you, let's see, I'm going to give you this, just hold it like this, right? This is yours. Yeah, you can read it. And you can show it to everybody also to read it. I need few more. 2 more people on the stage. Now people are not scared, right? Yeah. Okay, so please show to everybody what is written there on your papers. Everybody, you've read it? Dr. Jignasa, I was waiting for you on the stage, but I will call you. Please sit here. Perfect. So, everybody with हाँ, सबको दिखना चाहिए क्या लिखा है आपके स्ट्रिप पर. So everybody who has a slip of pro-inflammatory cytokines, please come on the right. And everybody who has on the slip oxidative stress, please come on the right.
Left.
Right. All these 2 on the right, please.
Pro and anti both.
Oxidative stress and pro-inflammatory on the right. Regulatory T cells on the left. Antioxidant defense on the left. Okay, so right and left, please divide like this. You're right, go on the right. Okay, you are on the left. Yes, sorry, left is lesser. So now there's this rope. And right and left, you are in a tug of war, please. Yeah, I am not supposed to give you answers beforehand. Right, so let's see who wins. You can now keep your papers wherever you want to, yes. And a real tug of war is what I want.
Hello?
Fine, yeah. Perfect. So, wait. So, right side is autoimmune thyroid side, and this is what happens. When your body is trying to heal you, which is that side, there are so many pro-inflammatory cytokines and so much of oxidative stress that this is what your body feels. Yeah? Right. When we give you ozone, what happens? What will happen when we give you ozone? What will happen? NRF pathway gets activated. Oxidative stress decreases. So oxidative stress, please move on that side. NF kappa B reduces. Pro-inflammatory cytokines, please move to that side. Immune cell activity improves. And this. Sorry. I was not. Inflammatory cytokines decrease, and when they decrease, your body's own defense mechanism, that is T-red cells and antioxidant mechanism, gets activated and health is created. So, a big hand for all those who participated. Thank you very much. And I'm sure you will not forget what ozone does now. So, it improves oxygen utilization, it modulates the immune system, it reduces inflammation and oxidative stress, and it supports detoxification pathways. So, all the ozone benefits we are knowing from the morning, but yes, what is it that I do in autoimmune thyroid, or what is it that I did for myself? 10 sessions of rectal and boto in a month, 7 minor auto in a month, 10 far infrared sauna sessions in a month, and 2 ozone drips in a month. 2 months continuously I do for every patient. I tell them in advance. 3rd month, it depends on how is the progress of the patient. So this was the abstract which is published, where they are saying that Hashimoto's chronic thyroiditis can be treated with systemic ozone therapy. So who all I have given this protocol? Now this is a very, very beautiful story, very, very close to my heart. A 32-year-old female struggling with fatigue, brain fog and weight gain came to me, and with tears she said, I became pregnant. The moment I delivered, post that within 3 months I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's. We all know pregnancy is a stressful event. And we all now are talking about it, that post-pregnancy, a lot of autoimmune conditions are happening. RA, thyroid, right? So, doctor had put her on levothyroxine, some lifestyle changes, some supplements she was taking. She came to me, I did my 6-hour gut protocol with her, and I did this IV ozone protocol with her, the full protocol which I have written. What did I see? 6 months later, she had increased energy, weight stabilization, reduced antibodies, and interestingly, she was on 75 mcg levothyroxine when she came to me, and she was on 0 thyroid meds after 6 months. When she had come with another reason that now my family is telling me to conceive again and I don't want to do it, I'm scared of my disease. Unless this is reversed, I won't do it. And 3 months later, she called me and said, Doc, I've conceived, I will come to you post that. And I had a report somewhere where her TSH was 0.0432 when she came to me. And that time she was on 25 mcg levothyroxine, which I told her, you stop it now because you need to. So this is no less than miracle, but it can be done with help of ozone and of course gut protocol, which has supplements, diet and lifestyle changes. Another 38-year-old male came with a lot of SIBO and leaky gut issues who had Hashimoto's. Same protocol, and 3 months, her TPO came down from 354 to 62. So when in allopathy we go, at least I remember, I used to tell people, don't ignore it, we can't do anything about it. But now, don't ignore it, work on it. Even if you don't have any symptoms, still work on it, because symptoms might come sometime. So if you work before that, great. 30 seconds more. So this is my data of whatever patients I have. I saw that in last 2 years, I've done 112 patients of Hashimoto's, right? In which what I found that 70% of patients had high aluminium and mercury. So my mercury was extremely high when I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's. So aluminium and mercury were high in 70%. 50% of patients had H. pylori IgA high. CMV was high in 12 IgM and in 27 IgG was high. EBV IgM was high in 5 and IgG was high in 30. Deficiencies were there, and about in 10% of patients, iodine, at least when I do an oligoscan, iodine was so low that I can't tell you, which exactly was telling me that the body is not able to use the iodine properly. The time for gift, a lot of people have always been telling me that when are you planning to launch your courses? So 2025, I became a grandmom in November 2024 and I had to gift something. Thank you. And I thought no better gift than sharing my knowledge in a way that who learns does it better than I do and heals more patients than I do. So 2 courses we have launched. One is of course with Dr. Sibia on EECP and one on BHRT. Feel free and do it. We have a center in Gurgaon. Please visit. Think of it as your center and let's create health. Become members of IFM and let's do more of such things together. Happy healing, happy India. Thank you.
Basis for understanding the therapeutic effect of ozone, xenon and hydrogen by Dr. Professor Yevhen Nazarov. Can I have a louder clap for him? Professor Nazarov is President of All Ukraine Association of Ozone Therapists, Executive President, Asiatic European Association of Ozone Therapists, CEO of Iconica SPE. He is author of 81 scientific articles on biophysics and medical problems. His research work includes research of the mechanism of physiological activity, complex ion and their analogues, research of biophysical mechanism of action of ozone on biological membranes, research in area, creation of methods of an estimation of another. Over to you.
Dear Chairman, dear colleague, thank you for possibility to do presentation in front of Indian doctors. The topic of my presentation is Pavlovian reflex hormoligos as a phenomenological basis of understanding the therapeutic effect of ozone, xenon and hydrogen therapy. Because same possibility, same feature of this different chemical substance with common mechanism of action, and I hope I can explain this point of view. I must say that I observe the state of ozone therapy in the world more than 34 years. And what I can see, what I must see, in this period, some ozone generators have some improvement, but practice and theory have remained at the level of the mid-90s years of last century. Of course, so-called ozone therapy protocols have appeared, but you will find no scientific basis of this protocol, unfortunately. In this report, I will present the universal protocol of systemic ozone therapy, which allows to increase the effectiveness of ozone therapy by 2-3 times. Meaning increases the proportion of so-called...
I just request everyone to have a silence in this hall.
What?
No, sir, they were talking too much. We can't understand.
Oh, that's why I prefer this.
That's why this is there.
Okay. Increase the proportion of so-called happy patients who always return for the repeated course of therapy for you. It is, you can see 3 times more increased effectivity of systemic ozone therapy. Let's start with understanding the essence of ozone therapy. Pharmacology teaches us that toxicology is the key for understanding the mechanism of action substance, all kinds of substances. Toxicology studies show the cause of death of animal is generalized tissue inflammation as a result of product of lipid ozonolysis. It is important and unexpected information for understanding the mechanism of toxic effect of ozone is provided by a series of work by Mille and Thompson and co-author. They convincingly proved that the pro-inflammatory effect of ozone mediated by glucocorticoids. Intoxication development begins through the activation of adrenal cortex. Then, glucocorticoid starts the synthesis of inflammation mediator and pro-inflammatory cytokines. This scheme is proved by the fact that the selective inhibitor of synthesis of glucocorticoid with name it mediator blocks the inflammation and toxicity caused by ozone. It is dramatically changed our relation to the ozone mechanism of action and toxicity. If it is inhibitory analysis, so name it in pharmacology, if some substance can stop some, this substance is key to understanding how the substance is doing. So ozone under renal glands, glucocorticoid release endogenous mediator of inflammation and toxicity. And we can stop this with methyramine and stop toxicity. No, main part of toxicity can be stopped. In order to exclude other interpretation of this experiment, they convinced the intoxication of rat after bilateral adrenal ectomy. So, you see that? Bilateral adrenal ectomy. And what happened after? Corticosterone, of course, cannot be synthesized, and toxicity decreases too. This is very interesting. So we make conclusions. The nature of ozone toxicity consists in the activation of adrenal components of the hormonal system. They have shown that undistinguishable effect of exogenous corticosterone and ozone on the synthesis of number or transcriptional factor of synthesis of mRNA. it is directly implies that ozone induces peripheral metabolic effects that are mediated by adrenal hormones rather than the direct pro-inflammatory and oxidative effect of ozone. So, in other words, we can imitate the synthesis of ceramic mRNA synthesis factor with ozone and receptors. This is we've seen same result. And it is we can say that corticosteroids also play an important role in therapeutic range of ozone concentration. So if we this is our data, it is cortisol level during the course of autohemotherapy measure. We see that after start of procedure, course of procedure, there are many vibration behavior of cortisol. We see, and it is very individual for different patients. Intermediated conclusion is endocrine system plays an important, if not decisive role to the mechanism of toxic and therapeutic effect action of ozone. Now this is time to define the mechanism of providing the unique role of adrenal glands to ozone toxicity. A hint about the nature of this mechanism is given by the table shown on the slide. We have constructed this table based on literary data from the source of the listed in the bottom part of the slide. The kind of physiological action of indicated by arrows, showing the deviation from the normal level. As you see, the direction of the arrows in the toxicity and therapeutic property is shown mirrored. Mirrored. This is key word, mirrored. Toxic and therapeutic property is mirrored. This means that the therapeutic effect of ozone is the body protective reaction to the toxic influence of ozone. It is very simple. Any effect on the body causes a mirror reaction. This is fundamental principle and explain much, if not everything, about ozone therapy. Let's take to the phenomenon for hormesis, for example. I think you are many times reading about ozone is hermetic and hormesis is some mysterious, maybe mysterious effect. But essence of this effect very easy. The effect seems also it is simply to result of the brain subtraction, the toxic effect, red line, toxic effect. Red line from the mirror protective effect, green line. And as a result, we see blue line with have dome shape. It's very easy to understand. Toxic effect development, and at the low dose, protective effect appear, and the result, we see increased effectiveness of hermetic factor. After that, decreased in this light dome shape. This affects okay. The simple conclusion from the curve for practical ozone therapy is that low doses of ozone work better than high doses. A good example of this is huge success that was achieved in the treatment of COVID patients by the team of Dr. led by Elisha using the method of infusion of ozonated saline solution. ozonated saline solution is very low dose method of therapy because we cannot increase more with risk of leaks. So Dr. Milisha and her co-author working with very low dose and taking very strong result, and it is very quickly to understand. With low dose we have strong protective reaction, and this protective reaction is essence of working ozone in this case. Okay. Let's back to the previous slide. As can you be seen from the table, ozone and toxic dose activated the blood coagulation system. It is toxic effect of ozone. This is hypocoagulation effect. And organism provide protective reaction. Which protective reaction will be? As this reaction will be a mirror for toxic reaction. And as a result, at low doses, the reaction will many times greater than the hypercoagulation caused by virus. It prevents the development of coagulopathy, which is one of the main factors of pathogenesis of COVID-19. This is why non-part of the red zone patients who received infusion of ozonated saline died. It is fantastic result, very simple, without any problem with sterility, with another sanitary rule for these patients. Only send bottle with saline solution to red zone in one direction. And the result is very big. This is why Dr. Mili and her co-author received this good result. The same result was obtained in Russian Georgian doctor. Now I will explain phenomenological approach to medical gas therapy. According to the method of logical deduction, the mirror image of toxic and therapeutic properties should be typical to another medical gases. The most popular kind of therapy with medical gases is xenon and hydrogen therapy. Let's start with xenon therapy. Xenon, like all anesthetic, is neurotropic poison. From the point of view, definition poison as substance that disrupt another kind of homeostasis. In this case, nervous homeostasis, of course. Xenon, like ozone, inhibit the mirror property as protective reaction to the depression action of xenon, which manifests the therapeutic antidepressant effect. Ozone is xenon is antidepressant. Another kind hydrogen therapy did not fit into the above scheme of forming therapeutic effect. The reason for this was hydrogen was considered as absolutely non-toxic gas. We accidentally noticed that the therapeutic property of hydrogen are very similar to the therapeutic property of low doses of carbon monoxide, CO. Quite naturally, toxic and therapeutic properties of monoxide are minor. Everything fell into the place when 2 years ago the toxic properties of hydrogen were discovered. Moreover, the mechanism of hydrogen toxicity associated with synthesis monoxide in presence of mitochondrial heme. Carbon dioxide can convert it with hydrogen to carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide is well-known poison. That's why we see moderate effect of therapeutic effect of hydrogen and therapeutic effect of carbon monoxide. The raw toxic property of medical gases look like this. The ordinator shows the logarithm LD50. The most toxic gas is ozone, and the least toxic gas is hydrogen. It is interesting to note that the dotted graph of the approximate remission time is mirrored to the toxic graph. For ozone, for example, the remission time is measured in months, and the hydrogen only days. So if you stop breathing or drinking hydrogen, the effect, for example, anti-tremor effect for this Parkinson disease disappear after a few days. This is not accidental, and we will return to this below. Toxicity and protective reaction to the subtoxic doses are the real reason why medical gases have a similar spectrum of pharmacological activity, despite some of which is oxidizer, some of which is reducing agent, and even inert gases. Everything used is well forgotten old. The above consideration can be summarized in condensed form as follows. All medical gases are poisonous, and none of them is not poison. And only the body protective reaction of them can hide the poison properties, and the protective reaction of mirrored in relation to their poison properties. In essence, this formula is some of the two legendary aphorisms of Paracelsus and Hahnemann, which sound in German and Latin respectively. No, in English it is all sin is poison, and nothing without poison, and only those make sin is not a poison. Paracelsus, the simila similibus curantur, or like your like is Hahnemann. So we can summarize it and receive universal formula which help to us understand the therapeutic effect of medical gases generally in the ozone in particular. A phenomenological approach to understanding long-term remission follows the medical gas treatment. After we have clarified the phenomenology of the therapeutic effect of ozone and other medical gases, we still needed to understand how the result of course treatment is fixed over time. What ensures remission of disease after the end of treatment? It turned out that the homeostatic system works on the principle of forming conditional protective reflex. Do you know Pavlovian conditional reflex? Do you know? Yes, yeah, I think you know if you have some stimulus and repeat it some time, and after that the result appear without stimulus. Do you know? Pavlovian conditional reflex. Some of these reflexes is innate. Another part of reflexes can be formed during the course of subthreshold intoxication. Let's consider an example. A dog given glucose intravenously, and the dynamic of concentration blood observed. Then glucose administered daily few times, several times. And now experimenter imitated the introduction of glucose for introducing saline solution. But what happened? The paradoxal hypoglycemic reaction will occur. The nature is associated with the protective reaction of insulin secretion. Each time, if we administrated glucose, we see a conditional reflex release of each. And this reflex make a hypoglycemic reaction to the natural saline. So we see the conditional Pavlovian conditional protective reaction, because it's protective reaction to the high dose of insulin. Of course, ozone therapy forms a conditional reflex in another manner. This is not innate reflex, but this reflex can be developed, and which reflex will be? If, for example, if toxic effect of ozone is hypercoagulation for blood, for example, anticoagulation condition will be fixed and work in many months. That's why course of ozone therapy form a conditional reflex hypocoagulation state of the body, which relevant to the several months. The conditional protects the body from the formation of microthrombin when infected with SARS-CoV-2 virus. This ensures the success of treating COVID patients with ozonated saline solution. It is considered a firmly established fact of conditional protective reflex reaction for developing any violation of homeostasis, since conditional reflex reactions are developed only on the basis of innate reflex. This means the body has innate system of unconditional homeostatic, in other words, healing reaction to the harmful effect. And ozone is harmful, have some threshold level harmful effect, and this effect can be fixed in a specific anti-protection reaction. Strategy, tactics, and universal protocol of ozone therapy from point of view the leading role of endocrine system and mechanism of action of ozone. The strategy tactic based on the above described position of the central role of the neuroendocrine system in development of the therapeutic effect of ozone. As research tools, we use the VBC and heart rate variability HRV. We know that the hormonal system affects the level of various type of this left slide. And the slide in center shows the dynamic change of VBC during the course of ozone therapy. For 14 procedure, and you see how this yellow color is monocyte vibration. Why vibration? Because this is tuning process for because ozone cannot innate system like lipids. So organism must build specific protective reaction, and some time needed for it. This is result. We have a formula for calculation adaptive age on the basis of this VBC data. And the red line is this is like 70, 60, 50 years old, and this is adaptive age during the course of procedure, and this is the result of test of calculated adaptive age on the basis specific question. But my attempt to spread this method of test, very exact method of evaluation adaptive age, not was successful because doctor do not not agree to make every time a VBC test. So we it is, but interesting feature we see. This is result of treatment and after a procedure. All cells moves to grazing. It is means that conditional reflex, protective reflex is appear and fix. But patients ask, please give me more, because I need to more, be more healthy, more younger. And if we start new, organism starts new treatment. And if you stop this, the result of all course will be zero. Because nutritional reflexes appear and destroy. If we not have correct tactic. Okay. We must understand, all things are poison and nothing without poison, and the dose makes it not poison. We see 3 worlds of poison and no one world of medicine. Paracelsus Caffrey one us. That is dangerous to treat an ozone as treating like medicine. It is not medicine, it is poison. For example, a course of sub-threshold intoxication of patient is always to form condition of protective reflex. If the reaction is developed, further intoxication, meaning meaningless and even dangerous. Hence, we must every time test during the course. We use this this is typical for all these patients. This is typical for you. So, essence of ozone therapy in this point of view is rejuvenation. And how it is working? It is epiphysis hypothalamus, and we have posterior and anterior glands in the hypothalamus, and one of this increase heart rate, another decrease heart rate. And if we working together, we see variability. This variability shows to us neuroendocrine interaction of patients. So we can use it for seeing moment that all process of tuning ended and makes this fixed. This is with HME. So now I just two points. Tactics of ozone therapy consists in guarantee formation of stable homeostatic reflex to ozone intoxication during the course of procedure, and timely terminate until the course of completion of its formation. The International Association of Medical Gas Therapies recommends the HME as an acid. And strategy of ozone therapy consists of timely restoration of the conditional reflex before it fades. In our experience, such strategy and tactic ensure the adaptive rejuvenation of patients for many decades. Please, it is last information. It is a typical process. It's body patients. It is vibration during course. After that rejuvenation. This rejuvenation may be from 3 months or 6 months, 7 months, and after that return to initial level, and after that withdrawal effect of it. And believe me, this fact. And this curve which you can predict how many remission time will be in this age. For example, for 80 years old patients it is 3 months, for 50 years is 6 months. So you can calculate it, and you must say to patients which received rejuvenation, please go to this point, not make worsening of your condition. And for example, I keep my mother-in-law 28 years in the rejuvenation condition, without any relapse, without any worsening. So, this is very simple protocol. We don't need another, no, this is my point of view, another kind of protocol for the system. Of course, the system. And last, why ozone therapy treat all? It is my imagine is if we have 60 years old patients and with hypertonic, for example, patients, and we call rejuvenation to 40 years, what we have? We have 40 years old hypertonic patients. And diabetic mellitus say the rejuvenation allow to us to treat all the illness. No, thank you very much for your
I hope this was comfortable to you. Yes. Shawl pen. Yeah.
So please be in the center of the stage.
Just come on the center of the stage, please. Center of the stage. So next, I want Dr. Pradeep. Chair. Okay. The next, Dr. Alok Sharma is also not here. No, they will not serve in this hall for all of us because of the serving problem. So you can wish, if you wish, go and get it. Second, we have dinner organized 8 onwards. And
next lecture is on role of ozone in dentistry by Dr. Raj Shekhar. Dr. Raj Shekhar is BDA's graduation from MGI University, Chennai in 1994, practicing from 30 years. He had done diploma in Endodontics University of Manitoba, Canada, 2007, practicing from 17 years, ophthalmic buses, diagnostic buses, etc. Now let's see what Dr. Raj Shekhar is here with up to. So Dr. Raj Shekhar, up to you.
Good evening to the legends in the front row. Good evening all. Very few left out. Finally I got a chance to speak. And don't worry, I'll keep it simple and sweet. I'll finish up as quick as possible. Yeah, this is a miracle molecule. Antibacterial, antiviral, antiprotozoal, whatnot. Everything in one molecule. So it's a miracle molecule. And not only this, after 20 minutes it converts back into oxygen, which aids in tissue healing, which is the suitable molecule for dentistry. One side it kills the microorganisms, viruses and other things. The other side it helps in tissue healing. So that is why it is called a miracle molecule. And in 1950, Dr. Fish has introduced this into the dentistry in the oral maxillofacial field. So when it comes to the applications part, as a part of general applications, you can sterilize the room as a room sterilization. Instruments can be sterilized. Dental chair tubules, which consists of water running all over the ear, will have so much of bacteria that can be sterilized. And aerators, which often get jammed because of the water impurities, those also can be sterilized with this. These are general applications. And coming to the tooth applications, first we will discuss about sensitivity. 30 to 40% of the people will have sensitive teeth because the cervical region, the enamel will be very thin. In the occlusal region, if the enamel is 2.5 millimeters thickness, the cervical region it will be less than 0.5 millimeters. So when you are brushing, definitely that will have a cut-like thing, a abrasive point formed over there that leads to sensitivity. Most of us will have a myth that the tooth is a chalky substance, it's like a cement as a solid substance. But since the pointer is working,
laser pointer.
where is this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. See, this occlusal part, it will be 2.5 millimeters thickness. When it comes here, it will be less than 0.5 millimeters thickness. That is why when you run the brush forward and backward, this area will get abrated and this will be exposed. Only the enamel part is a solid part. The inside area will be an empty area where the blood vessels and the tissues will be there. And the yellow part is a tubular-like thing. Next slide, when it comes, I'll show you why the sensitivity happens, how the ozone gas works on that. And second thing is small decay, role of ozone working on small decay pits and fissures. We can see two small spots, decay spots. When ozonated air is applied continuously for few days, a remineralization takes place. And in deep caries, how ozone gas works is, usually when there is a caries that goes deep down to the neurological tissues and the blood supply, it starts irritating the pulp region that leads to pulpitis, inflammation of the pulp. So when it is deep, when you pass ozone gas into that cavity, usually the cavity, we all know that the cavities happen with the bacterial infection. So when we pass ozone gas, this bacteria gets killed and it will be arrested, the caries will be arrested. And later stages we can remove the part of the deep caries and give a calcium hydroxide dressing or something else that can cover up the pulp and which doesn't irritate the pulp. Okay? Then the deep caries, indirect and direct pulp capping. When it comes to the pulpal involvement, partially if the pulp is involved, that portion can be exposed to ozone gas and the decay can be removed and we can give a calcium hydroxide dressing which will not irritate the pulp. The ozone gas will have antimicrobial function, at the same time anti-inflammatory function also. So it will not inflame the pulp and it will keep the pulp healthy, and the calcium hydroxide prevents any pulpitis or any irritants that irritate the pulp. And suppose if the infection goes little bit more down into the crown portion, partial pulpal removal, exposure of ozone gas and giving a calcium hydroxide dressing can take care of the condition. So the other areas where the ozone gas can be used is, most of us see the anteriors with a non-vital chocolate colored turned teeth. So those teeth, after root canal treatment, if you expose it to the ozone gas into the cavity, then it bleaches the already blood supply which has turned into brown color and makes it into white. So it has this. The other part is, most of the people who are in the show business often go for bleaching. Previously, in olden days, they used to do a chemical bleach. After that, it was combined to a laser, a chemical applied, activated by the laser. That is called laser activated bleach. Both bleaches causes enamel microcracks that leads to post-bleaching sensitivity. Whereas ozone, since it is a highly antioxidant material, when it is applied onto the tooth surface directly, especially the gas, it bleaches, and as we have discussed, ozone acts as a desensitizing agent also. The next slide I will explain you in detail. It acts as a bleaching agent. At the same time, it will not produce any microcracks. At the same time, it helps in desensitizing the tooth. So, without damaging the tooth, this is the safest method comparatively to the other two methods. Then when it comes to the soft tissues, as we all know, ozone gas dissolved in the water, ozonated water or ozonated saline is an excellent mouthwash. No other mouthwash, all the other mouthwashes, most of them are either alcohol based or chemical based. Both of them cannot be used for a longer duration except ozone, which can be used regularly. In oral surgery, you can use it as a irrigant when doing bone cutting in the oral maxillofacial surgery. And post extraction, most of the people will have a painful dry socket, where if you irrigate with the ozonated water and cure it and pass ozone gas, not only it controls the bleeding, it controls the infection, it makes the socket painless. And most of the alveolar abscess can be treated by ozone gas, especially periodontal abscesses. A small amount of ozone gas pushed through the periodontal pocket can take care of the alveolar abscess. And in periodontitis, since it is a gum infection caused by the bacteria, most of the bacteria are very much reacting towards the ozone gas. They are susceptible. Periodontitis can be easily controlled along with the laser treatments or conventional flap surgeries or root planing procedures. And skin conditions, mouth mucosal conditions like lichen planus, leukoplakia, these pre-malignant lesions, little bit of ozone injected submucosally can take care of the lichen planus and leukoplakia along with the corrections we will discuss in the later stage. This is also not good. Someone, slide is not changed. Slide is not necessary, I can somehow manage without slides. Is it okay? Are you okay for the other hammer?
We still have to go long way.
6 more speakers? Then you will be really testing their patience.
I'm known for that. That's why she keeps eating golgappas and khatero, tektero. And it is wrong.
Just how does the ozone gas in the mouth?
I'll show you. Please don't worry. Yeah. This is the one which I have been talking about. See, most of the people think that the tooth will be like this, a chalky layer. But in reality, the middle portion is the empty space where the cell odontoblast body will be present, and the cytoplasmic process extends towards the dentino-enamel junction. That means the enamel thickness, and this is the dentin. And at this junction, the cytoplasmic process ends. Around this cytoplasmic process, the mineralization happens. Imagine the cement pipes, one on the other, if you keep it, how that becomes a porous wall. The same way this will happen. Once this portion is exposed, the cytoplasm in this area is exposed. So the external fluids, when it interacts with the fluid, cytoplasmic fluid, this carries a sensation into the cell which is there in the empty space. That leads to sensitivity. So when the ozone gas is passed onto the retinal tubules, it removes the debris from the retinal tubules. It reduces the sensitivity by altering the cytoplasmic concentration, and after this, once the remineralization agent is applied, one more gas portion is applied onto this that will aid in fusion of calcium, phosphorus and other ions, which forms a dentin layer. So before this, I have discussed about the indirect pulp capping. See, the decay has gone down nearing the pulp, where it has a higher chances of irritating the pulp which is nearby. So this, after removing the caries manually in the aerator or any other instrument, if you pass ozone gas into the cavity, this will be sterile and there will be no microorganisms left out in the cavity. After this, the bottommost layer will be filled up with the calcium hydroxide. On top of it, it can be filled up with any temporary filling material. Yeah, sometimes what happens, the decay already touches the pulp chamber where the blood supply is exposed. In a mechanically exposed pulp, we can apply the ozone gas directly onto this spot, and we can give a calcium hydroxide and give a filling on top of it. Clinically, from last 10 years, I have been treating hundreds of cases. In that, I can count on fingers who have come back with pain. With the procedure, ozone procedure, what I have explained you, did hundreds of cases. Yeah, already I have explained in the oral surgery, ozonated water, ozonated saline, all these things can be used as an irrigant. Apart from this TMJ, most of the people nowadays are having temporomandibular joint problems. When they open their mouth and close their mouth, you can have a clicking or a popping sound or a pain developed later. This can be treated by giving ozone gas injection into the joint as well as superficially under the skin, a little bit of 0.5 cc, which takes care of the joint pain, and it also helps in healing up the tissues in and around the joint area. In the root canal treatments, of course, biological dentistry people always say root canal should be avoided, but it all depends upon the patient's choice. We explain our part. If still they want to go for a root canal treatment, we will do a root canal treatment. Again, as I have explained, because this is the one what I have told you, these tubules, the biggest reason for the failure of any root canal treatment is one, lateral canals to the dentinal tubules which lodges bacteria. These bacteria forms colonies in these tubules which stays for years together. Some people from 20 to 25 years also, this area, the bacteria will be lodged. And this is the area from where the inflammatory response will be happening, and that stimulates the total body inflammatory chain. So what we conventionally use is, we use a root canal irrigating material solutions like chlorhexidine gluconate, sodium hypochlorite and other these things. Instead, when we irrigate this pulp canal with ozonated water and push ozone gas into this area, since it's a gaseous form, it will enter into these tubules that will kill the bacteria that are formed in colonies. Any laser or any irrigant can go up to 500 microns depth only, but laser can go up to 2000 micron depth into the retinal tubules horizontally. So success rate will be higher. This is my slide, my X-rays. Before using it on patients, I forgot to tell my story. If you permit me, in 30 seconds I will tell my story. So, I was accidentally into this ozone dentistry 10 years before. Myself and my good old friend Dr. Lera Rovello, we were doing some research on developing ozone machine. Finally, somehow we got it done. And it was a small machine, not so powerful, maybe 500 milligrams or 200 milligrams. We never measured it also. Dr. Lera told me, you use it here. This is the word. So we started using without any faith. There was no confidence like this. There was no educating people. So we are only the student, we are only the teacher, we are the experimental guinea pigs. So we have been doing. One fine day, one patient came, a 64 years old person, a black tooth which is not at all indicated for root canal. I told get it extracted. He is not at all willing for that. Somehow or the other, you want to get the root canal treatment done. With all the reluctance, I have done root canal treatment, irrigating the root canal with the ozonated plain water. 6 months later, that patient came back. I thought he came for the extraction. He said that other side there was another tooth which is paining. So we take a big OPG X-ray, dental X-ray. To my astonishment, the old tooth which is having problem has a big periapical pathology more than 1.5 centimeters in diameter. In general, in dentistry, what they say is anything more than 1.5 centimeters should go for a surgical removal, that is episectomy. So this is my X-ray with 1.5 centimeters periapical pathology. After 6 weeks, you can see the periapical pathology disappeared, and after 12 weeks, we have obturated this. This is my own X-ray. So this is the best evidence. After seeing that patients, we have irrigated so many cases, and lot of cases, 90% of the cases gave positive results. Now I will rush up to the other things. This is the periodontal pocket, what I am talking about. Directly put on the ozone gas, the periodontal abscess and the periodontitis in that particular area will be reduced. And this is what I have told, lichen planus and leukoplakia. Around the lesion, along with the other conditions like nutritional deficiencies, psychosomatic stress, all the things after correction, you inject the ozone gas around this area, 0.5 cc, lesions will disappear. This is what I have seen in the clinical practice. And this is my own practice, this thing. ozone gas is very much useful in removing the silver amalgam fillings. The silver amalgam, for the namesake it is silver amalgam. In that, the mercury part is 53%, only 47% is silver, tin, copper and other alloy materials. When you are removing it with the aerotor turbine, that will mix up with the mercury, forms a mercuric fog which spreads up to 4 feet distance. The operating dentist, the assistant and the patient, whoever inhales, it is 600 times more toxic than in the solid form. So we have to take all the precautions of the biological protocol and we have to remove this. After removal, as I told you, all the tooth surfaces in the dentin will have a tubular pattern with cytoplasm. The mercury seeps into these dentinal tubules. The left out mercury, when you irrigate it with the ozone, water or saline and pass ozone gas, that can take care of the mercury toxicity in the tooth surface. Later you can fill it up with the filling material. Thank you for giving this opportunity. Hopefully I have finished up in this time, in spite of the break in between. Thank you so much.
Dr. Raj, thank you for your inputs. Let's quickly head towards our next lecture. It's on addressing depression with ozone therapy and integrative medicine by Dr. Sandeep Bhasin. He is MBBS, MS trained in cosmetic surgery, anti-aging and functional medicine, Director of Care Wellness Medical Center in Delhi. He is trained in hair restoration surgery, melanocyte transplantation, rhinoplasty, gynecomastia, etc. He is trained from Alagam in Botox and fillers. He is a member of IAS and trained in use of stem cell and exosomes.
What I want to basically tell is that many conditions like Alzheimer's, depression are basically, the main cause behind them at one level is inflammation, neuroinflammation that is going on. And senescent cells also play a big role. I'll be talking about, depression. So my topic will be, because I have a very short time, so I'll not cover a lot of things, but I'll show you something, something new maybe. I don't know how many people know about it. I share a small story with all of you. In the last conference with Dr. Suresh, he was talking about senescent cells. And we talked about senolytics. There are medicines like dasatinib, quercetin, which reduce our senescent cells. And I've been reading from a long time about rapamycin. So my own mother-in-law, she developed vascular dementia, and there's a very strong history of Alzheimer's in the entire family. In fact, my father-in-law died because of Alzheimer's, and his mother also died because of Alzheimer's. A very strong history in their family. And I started her with ozone major autoimmunotherapy. Along with that, I put her on senolytics, that is dasatinib and quercetin, and also rapamycin, along with other medicines that were given. And within days, there was a marked improvement. She started walking, talking, recognizing. In fact, it was like a miracle, and the neurologist who was treating was also very surprised. I'll be focusing on this depression now, and today my topic is ketamine. How many of you know the drug ketamine? How many of you know ketamine is one medicine? Now, many of you would be knowing, especially who are surgeons and from surgical background, ketamine is an anesthetic drug, I think, yeah? And one thing special about ketamine is it causes dissociate anesthesia. What dissociate anesthesia means, that if in a you give ketamine in low dose, you feel that you're out of your body. A part of you would feel that you are in the body, and part of you is outside the body. And to an extent, it is like a psychedelic experience. You know psychedelic experience? LSD and things like that. So, ketamine works something like that, and it is something very amazing. Now, why ketamine is an amazing drug? I'll come to that. So, next slide. Yeah, next. Oh, sure. Okay. So I do. Okay. So depression is something we are struggling with. There are 280 million people globally who are having depression, and most of the medicines and psychotherapies really do not work. Now, one thing more that I like to tell, whatever I am telling you doesn't work alone. It has to work in an integrated way. And one reason why depression doesn't really work is because we are just trying to treat them with antidepressants, which really do not work very well. So, major depressive disorder, MDD, is a major leading cause of disability. There is common symptoms of mood changes, fatigue, cognitive impairment, and the relapse rates are very high, medicines are not very effective, and people keep on suffering from depression year after year, and hardly much can be done for them. And there is something called treatment-resistant depression, which is very common. 30 to 40% patients who undergo treatment for depression do not respond to medications that we have till now present. And that's a big problem, that medicines don't really work for them, therapies really do not work for them. In the year 2019, more than 6,000 people who were war veterans committed suicide in USA, and they had all PTSD. PTSD means post-traumatic stress disorder. If you undergo something very traumatic, its trauma goes deep inside, and sometimes it causes suicidal tendencies also. So one big problem with depression is suicide. So many people who are committing suicide out of depression, that's a very big problem. Now, why is ketamine something so amazing, and why it is something that's coming up in a big way? Because, ketamine is a medicine that is there from 1970s, very, very cheap medicine, though it's not easily available. It's a restricted drug, so it's not easily available. Now, in 2019, FDA approved ketamine for depression, a new form of ketamine called S-ketamine. It's a nasal spray that is given, and it is an NMDA receptor antagonist. I'll talk about it. But what's amazing about ketamine is if you give ketamine within 1 hour, 2 hours, within days, the depression goes away. The people who have not responded for days, months, years for any treatment, if you give them ketamine, within a day or two, within a week, their entire outlook change, their entire thing. People with suicidal tendencies, if they give them ketamine, they come out of the suicidal tendencies within days. And sometimes it is within hours also. No medicine has worked so fast like this. Okay? And so it is the NMDA receptor antagonist, and why this is important we have to understand. I'll come to the mechanism so we'll understand. And it increases neuroplasticity. So why ketamine is different from other antidepressants? Our brain is made up of a lot of dendrons, neurons, axons, and in between them there are synapses. Right? Connecting the two neurons are synapses. As we age, the number of synapses start becoming less and less. And a lot of diseases that we have is because of decreased number of these synapses. Okay? Ketamine has a very special mechanism that it increases the new synapses formation. It forms new neurons inside the brain, which no medicine has been able to do till now. So that is something, it promotes neuroplasticity with a rapid mood improvement within days. Typical administration is either by IV or through intranasal. Now, I'll come to this mechanism because this is what we need to. Now, let me ask this because a lot of you are into functional medicine. As far as our mood is concerned, our brain functioning is concerned, which are the two most important neurotransmitters? Can anybody tell me? For the mood, especially from depression point of view, according to the present data, which are the two neurotransmitters? Which are? How many people say serotonin? Just raise your hands. Okay, how many people say dopamine? Anybody else? Huh? So I want to inform you, none of them really works. And that is the mistake people have been doing till now. Two main neurotransmitters, 80% of neurotransmitters, either glycine or glutamine. Glycine is inhibitory neurotransmitter, glutamine is a excitatory neurotransmitter. Remember that all our medicines till now have been trying to work on serotonin, and they hardly work. They do not work because they missed one basic mechanism. There is a balance between glutamine and glycine. Glycine is down-regulating and glutamine is up-regulating. Whenever this balance is gone, you develop depression. If you understand this thing, you'll understand a lot of things. Now try to look at this diagram. There is one receptor called NMDA receptor. Now why is this receptor very important? Glutamine works through two receptors. One is NMDA and second is called AMPA receptor, AMPA receptors. Now AMPA receptor produces something called BDNF. How many of you know BDNF? Brain-derived neurotrophic growth factor. Okay? Now whenever BDNF increases, the brain forms new neurons, synapses, and new growth takes place. But AMPA is blocked because of NMDA. Are you understanding? Whenever NMDA is more powerful, when glutamine comes, it works on both receptors. But mostly it works on NMDA. And when NMDA is overactive, AMPA goes down. When AMPA goes down, you are not able to create new neurons, new synapses, new neurogenesis does not take place. Clear? Now, what happens? Ketamine comes and it blocks NMDA. When it blocks NMDA, AMPA gets overactivated. When AMPA gets overactivated, it activates BDNF through various mechanisms. There are various pathways. I don't want to go into the details. There are different mechanisms which release BDNF. And the level of BDNF starts increasing many folds. So much so that a lot of new neurons started growing in your brain. Till now, no medicine has been able to do that. So it's a new neurogenesis that's happening in the brain. Is it right? Now, if we understand this mechanism, that's one way of looking at it. There's another thing. In the world of mental health, I had one video, also one documentary, but I thought I won't have time, so I didn't uploaded it. There's a new revolution that is going on in the world of mental health, and that is called psychedelic-assisted psychotherapy. Ketamine is also partially psychedelic, you know. And it got approval in 2019. New medicine, esketamine has come as a nasal spray. There are other medicines like MDMA, ecstasy. How many people know about ecstasy or MDMA? There are so many clinical trials going on for the release of PTSD. Then there are other trials also going on with other medicines that can really come up, like psilocybin, it's called magic mushroom. There are studies going on where they can be used for treatment of depression, PTSD, and a lot of other things. So in coming few years, psychedelic-assisted psychotherapy is going to come in a big way. You know, cannabis has been legalized, we know that. But in a coming time, MDMA and psilocybin will be the next two drugs that are going to be legalized. It may take few years, but it's going to happen. So this is how ketamine really works. That's one way. Second, what I want to tell you is, I think I have a slide on that. Okay, that is the mechanism by which AMP. In our brain, there are two pathways. One of the pathway by which the brain is able to work is called executive network, and other pathway is called default mode network, DMN. Now they are two opposite pathways. Now when we are talking to you, my executive network is working. I am thinking what I should say, how should I interact, what is the right way to do things, what is not the right way to think. On the other hand, default mode network, DMN, it is always thinking what I am not good, I am not right. What we call it, always thinking about myself, self-reflecting thoughts in a negative loop. All because negative thinking, critical thinking. Ketamine blocks default mode network. So what happened? After ketamine, for 1 week, I gave it to many patients, and if time permits, I'll show you one video. And they all wanted to have one thing common, they wanted to resolve their childhood issues and traumas. So why depression is there? Because of childhood issues and traumas. Unless you face your childhood issues and traumas, you will not be able to release your depression. No medicine can do that. So how ketamine helps? So this is what I told you. Ketamine is the NMDA receptor antagonist. It increases glutamate. It activates AMPA, and then it increases a lot of post-synaptic neurotrophic signaling. And basically it balances the balance between excitatory and inhibitory neurotransmitter, which is glycine and glutamine. So you can see this, after we give ketamine, the number of BDNF and synapses increase many folds. So where is ketamine therapy being used? It is being used for PTSD, depression, chronic pain, behavioral addictions, and even for suicidal tendencies. They are using it to try to help the people to come out of addictions also. Alone, ketamine will not work alone. We have to combine it with art therapy, counseling, psychotherapy, meditation, ozone therapy, and a lot of working on senescent cells, decreasing inflammation. All this together is going to work in a very good way. So these are the indications that we can't give it to people who are schizophrenics or who have got delusional disorders. People who have got high blood pressure or kidney problem should not be given, a liver problem should not be given it. So what does one feel like on ketamine session? They feel euphoric, there's an instant relief, they feel that they have a very spiritual experience. Many of them come on and say they felt that they were out of the body. They were floating. I'll show you that and maybe you'll understand. Okay, so this is a brief nutshell about ketamine, how it is given and how it works. And I would like to show the video now. इसको बंद करना।
Hello friends, I am Dr. Bisleri. Our society is burdened with people suffering from depression, anxiety, PTSD. With a new substance that is making waves, and that's ketamine. In 2019, US FDA gave approval to ketamine to be used in treatment-resistant depression. Ketamine creates dissociative anesthesia. It is able to alter our neurochemistry, create new neurotransmitters, give us psychological flexibility that we can re-examine and confront our traumas and pains in a way that's not overwhelming. And because of that, we are able to resolve them and create new perspectives in the life. Ketamine does not work alone. It has to be combined with art therapy, counseling, psychotherapy, meditation, and other modalities that can help to deal depression in an integrated and holistic way.
So, आज हमारे साथ डॉक्टर विक्रांत है, he is coming here for taking ketamine drip.
Hi, myself Dr. Vikrant Yadav, and basically I want to take ketamine because मैं सारे के सारे अपने past जो भी मेरी life के traumas है, बचपन से लेकर अब तक उनको unfold करना चाहता हूँ, and फिर उनको नए नजरिए से देखना चाहता हूँ.
So welcome Dr. Harish. So you are a registrar, आपकी काफी you are at a very high post. तो आप बताइए कि आप क्यों लेना चाह रहे हैं ketamine assisted psychotherapy? क्या आपके mind में what do you want to explore in this?
So here I want to release some of my childhood traumas, and also work-related stress and relationship issues. So I'm 100% sure that this will open up all my pent-up blockages and it will release all the blockages.
I am Leena and today I am taking ketamine assisted psychotherapy from Dr. Sandeep. And my purpose of taking ketamine today is because I would like to experience a deeper state of meditation after this session. And as I know that it can, ketamine can help change different state of mind. So my purpose of taking today this session is that I would like to experience and also to be able to experience more youthfulness as well as resilience.
Hi, so we are starting ketamine assisted session today. Today we are giving this ketamine drip.
Initially it's like कि वो काफी time gap पता नहीं लगा कि कितने कब start हुआ कब खत्म हुआ. But the journey थी it's like a roller coaster ride.
Wonderful life-changing experience. Really, it was very reassuring. He and his entire team.
It was a wonderful experience, and I was going quite deep into it. During the session, it felt as if I'm going from one channel to another, but with a lot of colors, lights, and going quite deep. So it was a very deep spiritual experience while I was taking this. And there was a soothing music which was put behind, and I think the music, because of the very soft music, the experience was also very beautiful.
कभी hallucinations लग रहा है, कभी reality hit हो रही है, but इन सब चीज़ों के बीच में I was not able to figure out कि मैं खुद को देखना चाह रहा हूँ या नहीं देखना चाह रहा हूँ, मैं खुद को तो नहीं देख पा रहा हूँ. It's just like कि काफ़ी सारी lines हैं, metrics हैं, and काफ़ी deep thoughts है. ऐसा लगा कि पूरा बेड नीचे चला गया था. उस टाइम मुझे लगा था कि there is something darkness.
During the session, I really, as I told in the beginning, I really touched upon my core emotional issues which were there almost since many years, since my childhood, that brought in to light, and I was able to release them. And then I'm really feeling now that I'm totally free.
कि अभी दुनिया it's just like a material. कुछ भी रियल नहीं है, ना ये ना कोई चीज़ रियल नहीं है. It's just particles. So इतना ज़्यादा hard feel मत करो किसी, इतना ज़्यादा feeling attach भी मत करो किसी, या detach भी मत. Just live as you are.
I've left my past behind, and I'm looking forward for further more changes. Thank you, Sandeep.
It was a hopeless experience for many days. Nothing was really disturbing. So even the disturbing moments was not disturbing. This session I have started, deep thinking about what life is about. So it was a wonderful experience. I think you can experience it for yourself. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Working with ketamine in people. After the session of ketamine, there is a window period about 1 week, usually 1 week, where people feel very peaceful, very calm. They don't feel the thoughts are coming that much. The traumas or painful memories are not visiting them. I call this a golden period. Golden period because during this period, after 1 week after ketamine, if you work with art therapy, you take ozone, you work with a counselor, do psychotherapy, you do things like that, you are able to bring a lot of shifts and changes that will be permanent. So that is something, the window period after ketamine, that's really, really very important. So thank you.
It's a very nice talk, Doctor. I've got one. In fact, we hear about ketamine. A lot of people in Tamil Nadu get arrested for smuggling ketamine to the US. The ketamine smuggling is a major thing in Tamil Nadu. In fact, a lot of that's a thing. But it's very interesting that it's neuroprotective and also neurogenesis. One other thing I wanted to ask was, you said it is going to increase glutamates.
No, see, try to understand. Yeah. Ketamine will not increase glutamate. There are two receptors of glutamine.
Right.
One is NMDA receptor and one is AMPA receptor. There are in fact 4 receptors.
Right.
But 2 are very important for us. It blocks NMDA receptor and increases AMPA receptors of glutamine.
Okay.
Both are receptors of glutamine only.
Okay, but have you tried this for autism? Because autism is something where it's basically glutamine. When we deprive glutamine, autism vanishes. Okay,
no,
so is there any study that you've done for autism on this?
See, ketamine is not something my study. There's hundreds of papers on ketamine in depression, PTSD, suicide, and a lot of other things. Autism, I don't know because I'm not digging into autism, so I can't be able to say.
Okay, because autism is again linked with glutamate, so I was wondering if this blocking
so,
effect.
Let me again tell you. People say glutamate. Glutamate has 4 receptors. Okay? And there are specific areas also, like AMP augmentation also. Which area? In the prefrontal cortex, if you increase AMP, that is good. But if you increase in other area, that is also not good. So it depends which receptor of glutamine you are going to work upon. It is not universal. So that is something you have to keep in mind. We can't say that glycine is always good and glutamine is always bad. And one thing to all of you functional medicine people, one supplement which you all are using, which is NMDA receptor antagonist? All of you are using it. Tell me that. One supplement which all of you are using is NMDA receptor antagonist. Can anybody guess? It's magnesium. Magnesium works on NMDA and ketamine is also working there. And there's another drug called memantine which also blocks NMDA. It's not as strong for depression. But all of these are found, you know, why magnesium is good for your brain. It blocks NMDA. It blocks NMDA and increases AMPA. Thank you.
Mr. Manikam, I want you to felicitate few of our speakers here. You can be here, sir. Thank you. Okay, Dr. Sandeep Bhasin, please take a small token of appreciation from our distinguished guests. I request Dr. Rajshekhar.
Approach using Ayurveda, Ozone and functional medicine by Dr. Pallavi Chobe. Dr. Pallavi is wellness entrepreneur and Ayurveda evangelist, founder and speaker of signature health education series of Adya. She completed more than 150 awareness program of the following subject: law, living Ayurvedic way, known disease, no disease, how to improve eye factor of your child, founder and director of Sattva Oral Nourishment Solutions. Let's see Dr. Pallavi's journey is how long and how it is. Dr. Pallavi, over to you.
Is it audible? That it is audible. Okay, that was my old introduction. I am Dr. Pallavi. I am a founder director of a concept known as a Ritvi Wellness, which is a government recognized startup in integrative Ayurveda, where we use innovative health solutions or solution for the chronic degenerative diseases. My PPT please. And I run Sahasrashtra Foundation, where this integrative Ayurveda services we are using for the people who are on a daily wages and they undergo autoimmune issues like psoriasis and rheumatoid arthritis, so they don't go on their daily work. So, where is the... I will take this moment to thank Dr. Sri Kumar, who introduced me completely new world of hope and possibility. He showed me if you can connect Ayurveda and functional medicine, you can create wonders in the medical field. And I will also take a small second to thank Millie and Jignasha. So, I just came to know that, yeah, you can clap for us. Jignasha madam completed 17 years to work with Ozone this month. Such a long commitment. People get married and get divorced after 6 months. Okay. As I was introduced, and I am an Ayurveda doctor, I am an Ayurveda entrepreneur. So when it comes to Ayurveda, we have certain thoughts in our mind. Ayurveda, we all love. We want to use and implement, and we can see by our own that world is slowly directing towards Ayurveda. See, this is a very good time when very good speakers like Dr. Alok ji and Dr. Bashan already talked, and then you come to talk. Because he's a neurosurgeon, he opened a clinic and a lot of time taking panchakarmas where we can't spend one month in a center. Many herbs are not easily available, it is not evidence-based science, where I'm very happy that all of us belong to any party making this science evidence-based by putting so many documentations. Since morning we went through so many documentation, people are using so many Ayurveda herbs, therapies and all that. So I'm very happy, I'm at the right time, and I will take this opportunity to be entrepreneur. Entrepreneur also has a responsibility to solve the challenges people are having, what they are using. So I'm an Ayurveda entrepreneur. I solve this challenge. I try to overcome this challenge by creating one concept that is Ritvi Wellness. In Ritvi Wellness, what is a Ritvi Wellness? It is a concept which is inspired by Ayurveda, powered by science and propelled by education. When I mean education, people till today were having health education since long time, and we are having our signature education program, which is not health education, which is a disease education program, which got Indian Health and Wellness Award in 2021. As it is a disease education in no disease, which we finished more than 200 programs till now. And in this Ritvi Wellness concept, we use a diet detox program, therapies like Ozone, TENS, physiotherapy, chelation, IV nutrition to correct the physiology which went wrong and become disease. So these are till last year I was talking many about these diseases, and this is with me like 8 doctors. I educated more than 8 and 9 doctors in integrative Ayurveda approach. So we came to know that there are some peanut kind of a diseases, peanut which are very small, take very small time you can take. So these are the diseases. Yes, with this combination works very well. There are some daily apples like non-healing would take little bit time, psoriasis take little bit time, because apple more than peanut, to eat apple we take a little bit more time. Yes, this integrative combination works very well. And then some watermelon, you have to do lot many work, you have to cut it down, take the, so we work. In cases like cancer, I am very fortunate enough, people gave me opportunity to work on their lives. Some people of them are out of chemo, and there are some people of even surgery, and still they are doing very good. I am talking about cancer. But now we are entering into new dimension in Ritvi Wellness, and my topic today is a healing beyond limits. Integrated Ayurveda for tendon, ligament and meniscus tear. So we are entering one dimension, as I told you, it's a regenerative medicine. So when we say regenerate, there are many things come in mind. I have heard that lung parenchyma you cannot regenerate, or regenerate very slow. Kidney parenchyma, brain parenchyma do not regenerate. So that is the subject I want to work. So we took up one subject, knee injury. We all know that there are ligament injury, very difficult, very painful, like anterior cruciate PCL ligaments generally happens due to twisting, generally happens due to very heavy weight, medial MCL, lateral collateral ligament. These are the presentations, how they get tear. Then meniscus injury, there are meniscus surgeries available for this tendon injury, reconstruction surgeries available. So when I am talking about regeneration, I meant real regeneration. Is it possible? What do we mean by regenerate? It is like creating again. First time we created everything in our body when we were in our mother's womb. Now this is a second time when we had any kind of issues and we want to create it again. Is it possible? Is it possible that a meniscal cell I can create again? Is it possible? So that is our whole topic. my whole topic about and how did we work. So recent treatment and goals available, we all know there are physical therapies available and they are more focusing on strength, flexibility and stability. And bracing, definitely surgical options are available, arthroscopy, repair surgeries for meniscus, tendon, ACL reconstruction, regenerative surgical techniques. But this all treatment comes with some kind of uncomfort. People never feel as they were feeling before. We need to understand, we are not bad. We can't feel anything which a bad person feels. Isn't it? So similar way, the person who already had tears before the injury. So many famous athletes actually gave up. Olympians gave up their careers for this kind of injuries. Many mastectomy patients don't ever feel 100% functional. Definitely these surgeries come with some risk like infection, bleeding, sometimes of anesthesia complication. There is a re-injury happens once it operated, 50% happening in 78 hours. That is not my data, it is already published. We can go through scar tissue formation, recovery, rehabilitation time is more, and in Ritvi Wellness, what we are doing, our main focus is regenerating it. So our main goal of the treatment is reclaiming, feeling the same way as you were feeling before the injury. So really, can we do that in comfortable time? That functional full recovery? Is it possible for every case, or it is just a fluke? It happened for one person and it is not. So there are some of my study I compiled and putting forward to you. So I will talk 3 different people today. AS, TS and VK. AS, TS are 2 females, VK is a male, 40, 42 and 39 respectively. They came with the pain, they came with the swelling, severe swelling. They came, the duration, 8 months, 6 months, already done, but they are orthopedic doctors. So I am not actually in fight of any parties. I am just saying that they done all and they came in Ritvi Wellness, whether they will get any kind of a comfort. Severity for pain was very much, and functional, no. There was a functional restriction. They were not able to move, they were limping, they were not able to sit, they were not able to do anything which is normal. Forget about what they were feeling before. So these are the MRI findings I compiled. This is a tabular form. So their MRI says, you will see first is a AS, second is a TS and VK respectively. They were muscles normal in first 2 cases. In third case, you will see there is a soft tissue edema, fluid, there was accumulation, edema. In TS, there is a posterior marrow edema involving medial lateral tibial outcome, patchy bone marrow edema, cartilage in second and third, like TS and VK, there is a damage in cortical, synovial fluid leakage was there in third person who is a male. Then ACL tear, first case, second case, third case, you will see PCL was normal. There is a MCL first case, LCL in the third case, then meniscus, medial meniscus damage in all 3 people, and lateral meniscus damage in first 2 cases which is gone down. Anyway, so protocol we use, generally how we work in Ritvi Wellness, we integrate all the therapies. When I say integrate, it is not one after the other. We make sure that every person undergo 3 to 4 different therapy every day for 21 days straight, up to 30 days in first session. In second session, in second month, we make them either come alternatively or weekly twice. So what we do in this format, we do Janibasti, Abhyanga steam, rectal ozone, leg bagging and cupping over the major painful area. So after leg bagging, what we added is the cupping. All people must be having the funnel. Then O3 injection twice, oral Ayurveda herbal medication, nutritional program, IV nutrition with a high dose vitamin C, and PRP 45 days once. In these 3 cases we did only once. There are other cases we require PRP 3. Now when it comes to PRP, PRP also comes under regenerative therapy. But what is a PRP? PRP is just like a seed. When you plow into the field, that seed also requires water, fertilizer to grow. So growth factor, when we directly enter, there are so many people came with previous PRP and they are not feeling better. They feel better for a certain period of a time for pain, but their functional restrictions was still there. So PRP, in my point of view, it is like a seed and it requires fertilizer. What is this fertilizer? Fertilizer is nothing but the nutrition which my blood carries there. Because once growth factor are there, if other nutrients are very low, the reformation will not happen. So that's why we add the IV nutrition therapy also into this. And we do Janubasti. So when we see all this kind of a picture of Ayurveda, many people think it's just a relaxant therapy. It is not like that. There is a big science behind it. So immediately after muscle contraction, what happens? Calcium goes into sarcoplasmic reticulum and it inhibits the actin get bind to myosin get bind to actin, and it causes further relaxation of the muscles. So this contraction, immediately after contraction there is a relaxation, these all things happen. So how we can cause the local contraction of the muscle, local excitation of the muscle, so immediate next response, that is a muscle relaxation, calcium response will happen. For that Janubasti helps us, because this muscle contraction or excitation, one of the trigger is thermal. So we don't go into chemical, there is a electrical and mechanical things also which physiotherapy use. We use in Janubasti a warm oil. So which oil to use? This warm thing, that small heat part, even a locally, triggers the response, calcium to go into sarcoplasmic reticulum and then further relaxation of the muscle. So 21 days we trigger that, relaxing muscle, because the muscle is already in tension, knee is already in tension. So we are inducing the relaxation. Meanwhile we work on our IV nutrition and this one. Why we do chelation in these kind of cases? We all know that we are living in a toxic world, and in our body also there is a lot many lead accumulation. Our muscle, thinking that lead is a calcium, it take that lead, and this lead is accumulated in our muscle. So unless and until we take that lead out, the result we will not go in a proper way. So after doing this, what is the achievement? This is again the MRI. I put it in a tabular form. ACL, which is normal, intact, PCL, normal, MCL, normal, LCL, normal, meniscus. So don't think that I just put it in that way. If you want, you can get this MRI if you want to. This is radiologist opinions given for the same thing. So, I know that not everybody can be a great doctor, but I believe that great solution can come from any form and from any source. One should be humble enough. So what is this first, second lady is doing? She started doing aerobics, she loved that. The person who is a male, what he started doing? He started cycling, he used to love that. And all these 3 persons are not at all afraid that what will happen. So that's all. That was about Review Wellness and my experiments. I thank you.
Today, and we are going through the next. Okay, it started, and Dr. Nambiraj M. Kunar. Dr. Nambiraj here? He's not here. Absent. Alright. One more spin. Okay. Dr. Vinesh Ram. Yes. He's in shock. Oh my God. I'm the luckiest one. Alright, give it up, people. Alright, one more spin to find the next luckiest doctor for third segment. Stop. Dr. Nazia Ansari. Hard to believe it? Yes. I don't know, you're shouting, yay! Alright. She was expecting, and fingers crossed. Knowledge is on integrating naturopathy with ozone therapy by Dr. Manoj Kuteri. Dr. Manoj is Medical Director and CEO at Atmantan Wellness Center, Pune, and also Director at Atmantan Naturals. He is licensed holistic doctor with exceptional combination of professional training and clinical experience over 2 decades, serving in wide variety of health, fitness, spa and academic setting, uniquely qualified with advanced clinical training in mind-body medicine, yoga, acupuncture, pranic healing and expertise in facilitating integrated spa and wellness programs, proven history of developing, launching and establishing innovative and effective business strategies which enhance the existing corporate mission. Let's see what is the mission. So over to Dr. Manoj, please grab stage.
Namaste and good evening everyone. I'm sure all of you must be going through a phase of cognitive overload with all the scientific lessons that you have been hearing since morning. Don't worry, mine is actually going to be very simple. First of all, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to Dr. Milisha and Dr. Jignasha, the great teachers from Ozone Forum, for inspiring us to set up an ozone facility at Atmantan along with all our integrated protocols, because Atmantan, we are known for having authentic Ayurvedic Panchakarma, naturopathic medicine, functional medicine, deep insight into physiotherapy, fitness, yoga, pranic healing or energy healing, therapeutic medications, and also, all these things. So, it was just 2 years ago, we met Dr. Milisha and Dr. Jinasha. And the energy and passion they have shown towards ozone, that alone was actually really convincing for us to really set up ozone within our frame of work. And it wasn't easy because, when it comes to the client perception, giving a 2 minutes of ozone injection, it was very difficult for us to convince someone that it is actually going to be effective. So we were having a lot of apprehension for starting this particular facility. And there it is. We have been operating with ozone into our frame of work for the last 2 years, and today we do around 800 plus treatments every month. So that is where we are now. So just coming to the process, just like any other centers, when a client comes to us, we normally do a very deep assessment, which not only include case taking, but we also do a lot of non-invasive diagnostic techniques in terms of body composition analysis. We also do like HRV analysis, ANS functions, like basically for understanding the sympathetic and parasympathetic overplay. We also do deep blood tests, blood work, and we also do something like a postural assessment. We give everyone a postural score. This is actually something that we do for everyone because we were really instrumental in establishing something called as a preventive physio within India, because like in the conventional way, a person goes to physiotherapy only when they have a musculoskeletal issue or neuromuscular issues. But we have actually started by giving everyone a lot of training on ergonomics, postural correction, understanding like how it is actually going to be very instrumental in causation of disease. Whether it is even sleep apnea, we have been treating a lot of cases with, of insomnia and sleep apnea cases by postural corrections and regularization. Then we also do a very personal, customized program for them, like taken from all the roots like of Indian tradition, using Ayurveda, yoga, and so on. And then now with Ozone, we were actually just we were able to integrate Ozone successfully within the treatment protocol to just amplify the results of the treatment. So the outcomes were much better in the last 2 years, like when compared to using other modalities like alone. And then we also have these long-term follow-up as well, because normally when a client comes to Atmantan, they normally come for the domestic travelers, they normally come for an average of 2 weeks. And with the international clients, we have been successful in getting like clients from almost 65 countries till date within the last 8 years of operation. So they normally travel for like somewhere like around 21 days, like 3 weeks program. So, and post departure from Atmantan, we have been following up with them as well. We have something built in as an aftercare program as well. So we have been getting a lot of data, but I mean, unfortunately, I didn't mean this session to be like a case history presentation. So I have a very, very limited documentation which I have taken on last minute. And I do agree with what Dr. Alok Sharma was mentioning. We'll be more serious about documenting, which is something that we haven't been doing. Now, the synergistic benefits of Ozone within the other therapies, I'm just like trying to elicit the difference or the integration of naturopathy practices and Ozone, because these both are aligned in a lot of different ways. Like, for example, if you look at effectiveness of the program, we usually see a better outcome when it comes to combining Ozone for various conditions like pain management programs, pigmentation and skin issues. We have been seeing wonderful results for anxiety, sleep disorders, and stress impact. Because I was actually just telling earlier to Dr. Milisha as well, although I think a lot of you might be using Ozone Enema as a very, very successful, highly driven modality within the Ozone, we have been seeing a lot of response with Boto alone. Like, because we get a lot of people with like stress-induced disorders. Like earlier, many of the speakers were talking about PTSD and all those things like post-COVID. So we have been highly successful in doing that. The holistic integration is actually another advantage where it can actually just marry with all other integrated modalities, because every system of healing believes in a drugless intervention when it comes to under-integrated or holistic medicine. So this is actually something that we were actually able to accomplish. Then Ozone, just like naturopathy, it is actually just like quite natural, because this is actually something that you see in nature. Okay, so that is another advantage. And plus it also qualifies a three-dimensional approach, where you treat a body in a physical, mental, emotional and psychological levels. Okay, so it was also helping us. The naturopathy principle, if you look at it, like there are 4 different criteria we normally elicit when it comes to naturopathy. We always focus on improving circulation within the body by various means. It can be hydrotherapy, it can be mud therapy, it can be magnetic healing, it could be fasting alone, or it could be some therapeutic massages, it could be just exercises. So the idea is to just improve the circulation so that there is better oxygenation into the cellular level. So this is actually where the first tick box, Ozone actually just like qualify on the first point. Second is actually boosting immunity, and we know that Ozone is actually widely used for regulating, upregulating and down-regulating the immune system, so balancing the immune system, so that is also again achieved. It is quite non-invasive when it comes to drug interventions. Like, I can't say Ozone is actually completely non-invasive because we use needles, but these are actually just completely non-invasive intervention, like because we don't use any drugs. And then detoxification. This is actually just one of the prime concepts that we believe in naturopathy, because if you look at the foundational treatment in naturopathy is a simple enema. And we do like various types of enema, like whether it is coffee enema, buttermilk enema, neem water enema, lemon water enema, just plain hot water enema, oil enema. So we do like a lot of different modalities when it comes to enema. So the healing power of nature, this is actually what we believe in, because if you look at the single philosophy that we work on is something that Michelangelo once said. When someone ask him like, what are you doing? Like, he was actually carving a stone. So he said, I see an angel hidden inside the stone. I'm just like letting it come out. So that is what we believe, because every person has a healthy person inside of each one of us. So with naturopathy principles, what we are trying to do is we are actually just trying to support your body's elimination process, support your body's healing power, and then trying to just bring the real you out of your body. So ozone therapy also works on the similar principle of improving your immunity, improving like oxygenation, improving circulation, improving detoxification. So that is where actually there is a alignment in both naturopathy and ozone. I always remember this particular line by Dr. Milisha. Always she said, start low, go slow. Okay, and this is actually what we believe in naturopathy as well. We believe that first do no harm. Don't harm your body. Like start very gently and then go through all the intense process in naturopathy. So we also understand body's vitality, because everybody cannot take all the intense treatment. So we start very, very slowly and then increase or preserve the healing power or the immune power of the body, and so that we can actually just give them like more prominent detoxification treatments such as colon hydrotherapy or other eliminative process. And I'm not talking so much about it because I think since morning we have been hearing about this NRF2 pathway. The ozone therapy, why ozone therapy actually just increases the oxidative preconditioning, thereby stimulating the NRF2 pathway, which is basically a transcription factor. We also know that there is keep1 and sulforaphane. Now sulforaphane is actually just what we normally talk about cruciferous vegetables. All the cruciferous vegetables that has sulforaphane, which has an action on stimulating the NRF2 pathway. Same way, naturopathy also we employ a lot of different modalities like antioxidant-rich diet, herbal medicines, lifestyle interventions, stress reduction programs, and the supplementation of key nutrients to bridge the gap, because it's very difficult in today's life for us to get all the nutrients that we require simply by doing a healthy eating. Although we all talk about healthy eating, like it's very, very highly impossible for us to get everything in our busy, hectic life. And we use a lot of antioxidants as well. Just like ozone, ozone becomes like one of the very prominent antioxidant. We also use like pomegranate extract, we use green tea extract, green coffee extract, coenzyme Q10, lycopene, beta carotene, tocotrienol. All these components are being used just to support your body's immune system. Thereby you can actually just also stimulate the NRF2 pathway. So both of them work in conjunction, so that you are actually just, end result is you are actually managing your oxidative stress, improving your repair and healing of the body. You also try to regulate the gene expression, because NRF2 is actually just proven to be helping to regulate the gene expression as well in the body. So preventing DNA damage and all these things can be achieved from this. Treating the whole person, this is actually what I was talking about, like physical health. Ozone qualifies all check boxes, like when it comes to physical health, improving pain management, improving immunity, reducing inflammation, like anti-aging, improving metabolism, improving circulation. Everything is actually very physical. Mental health, there are a lot of studies on ozone, like reducing the amyloid beta peptide, which is actually just one of the major treatment modality for use for treating Alzheimer's, basically for preventing the plaque formation. And we also talk about, when it comes to mental health in naturopathy, we use a lot of modalities like yoga, meditation, breathing exercise, and emotional well-being. This is actually where we try to use, just 1 minute, I'll be doing it. So we try to use affirmation, journaling techniques, and a lot of those conditions. Oxygenation, circulation, we spoke about it. Again, oxygen enhancing 2,3 dpg for increasing RBC efficiency, which is also done in naturopathy through exercise and yoga. The Brahmari pranayam, like there are a lot of studies like that increasing nitric oxide production, which is actually just again achieved with ozone. The hypoxia management as well. The detoxification strategy, especially by increasing the cytochrome P450 enzymes. Renal support, we are actually seeing a wonderful results like in renal perfusion. Basically, by looking at the markers like cystatin C, the creatinine levels, uric acid levels, EGFR, we are seeing an improvement with ozone administration along with naturopathic principles. Anti-inflammatory, basically, even in when it comes to ozone, there is better tolerability, there is a natural synergy. The immune system modulation, again, like all the cytokines, basically the chemokines, the TNF, the TGF, then comes to CSF, the colony stimulating factor. All these things are actually just modulated and regulated with the ozone. I just wanted to show these slides, although I was not completely prepared for case study, but this is actually a wonderful study. A pharmacist from Canada stayed with us for 4 weeks, and this is actually what the results are. Like HbA1c on arrival was 11.8, and on departure was 7.4. You can actually see the result here, and all other cholesterol parameters were actually just like reduced as well. So this was actually 28 night stay without any drugs, purely by using naturopathic protocols and ozone, and of course diet as well. Case study, another case study, just 3 more slides for me, is actually heavy metal toxicity. Like you can see the reduction in arsenic levels within 12 to 14 days of stay by taking ozone therapy and all other dietary intervention as well. So especially the result was actually very prominent on the arsenic levels and few other parameters as well. No chelation. Only therapeutic diet and ozone. In IR sauna, yes. We do IR sauna like for all the guests. So this is basically the bagging. 7 days of transformation. It's a drug-induced pigmentation for almost like 1.5 years. Okay, 7 days of bagging. Vacuum massage on the face. This is actually on 4 days changes that you can see here. As I said, I don't have much details here, but it was all like last minute this thing. So advanced protocol, we are actually just planning to do a lot of scientific approach, like by doing microbiome testing, and we are also trying to use like AI integration in our technology as well, to go to the next level for better treatment protocols. And also we, so that's the last slide. Yes, this is Atmantan picture. From the view from Atmantan, which is the Mulshi Lake in front, and we have the Sahyadri behind. It is actually situated on a crystal hill, so we get a lot of positive vibes as well, because of the crystals. So scientific validation, definitely it is a proven modality. We are just, I think we are just like getting to know about it, because it's only 2 years, so we'll be doing a lot more. We'll be doing a lot more. As I said, we have 5 stations for ozones now. We are actually planning to, as I said, we invested in not only just buying the machine, which most of you must have done. We have actually invested in developing a facility for that. So it was not easy for us. It actually took about 1 year for us to just develop the center, build a separate center for ozone, right? So thank you very much. Thank you.
Doctor, as she integrates ozone nutrition in pets, very well trained in the profession, she can take us with the use of ozone. In vet practice, she is a winner of many awards and recognition for integrated practice in small animal. Would love to hear you. Dr. Komal, please.
Hare Krishna, and a very warm good evening to everyone out here. Hare Krishna. And thank you Dr. Mili ma'am, thank you Jignasha ma'am for this lovely opportunity. As usual, every year I am very, very happy to be here to share some of my presentations, my case studies. Because like in humans, sometimes you say that there is a placebo effect. In animals it's not. What is there, what is not there is not there. So, and animals respond very beautifully to anything that you give them. And here I would like to share or show some of the. Okay. So this is just my introduction. I've done pranic healing, animal communication, ozone therapy, IV nutrition, acupuncture, UVBI, flower remedies, and recently veterinary homeopathy from Gadwasi University. And the learning will just keep go on and on and on for my animals. World Ozone Day is supposed to be on 16th September, and that is my birth date also. So I understand why I am so connected to ozone and why I am so much into this and taking it ahead, and will continue doing so. Wow. We are very close. And immensely thankful to my ozone mentors, Dr. Millie ma'am, Dr. Jignasha ma'am, Dr. Frank, Dr. Margot, and for the appreciations that I have been receiving from time to time from Ozone Forum of India in 2019 and 2023. And it's not only just the Ozone Forum of India, but my veterinary fraternity is also now started appreciating. Initially they used to consider me mad, now they've started appreciating, they've started felicitating, seeing all the cases and all the amazing results. So this was in just last year in 2024, wherein I was awarded as the best lady veterinarian in private practice throughout India. So yeah, it was really a very proud moment for me, and I was very happy because the therapies were also being appreciated and the awareness that is being generated. I'm very happy with it, and more vets are coming forward to learn these therapies. And recently in 2025, I was awarded by the prestigious Kartrutva Gaurav Puraskar, especially in specialized practice for the alternative therapies that I was doing. So they are recognizing, acknowledging and appreciating the alternative therapies and the integrative practice that we've been doing in veterinary. So yes, starting with this is one of my favorite case, Blackie, wherein he had an inflammatory granuloma on the hind leg. If you see the paw out here, and they had suggested amputation of the entire leg just because of that paw, which the rescuers did not want to. And then we started with ozone, and then slowly it started healing, and then you see the paw which is completely healed, and it took 1.5 months. And the only thing I did was rectal ozone and rapid heal oil. So rapid heal oil is like a magic drug, I feel. And it gives beautiful results. So the amputation was saved. And this is Buddha. Buddha was a cat who came to us with the face full swollen, eyes not able to open up, and he had ulcerated granulomas on the face and was not able to eat. And because he used to meow the entire day, he didn't want to stay caged, he didn't want to stay at home, and we just wanted to release him. And we started doing everything that I could, ozone, IV vitamin C, and then at one point I got stuck, and then I thought that I should give vitamin D. I had just gone through a lecture of Dr. Renu Mahatani, and somehow I felt that maybe I should do vitamin D, and on day 11, if you see, it's all gone and we could release him. So that is Buddha. This is dog who was rescued from Shirdi because she was suffering from venereal granuloma, and if you see the entire vulval area is ulcerated and bleeding and swollen, and it took a month, but then these kind of cases generally don't settle down very easily. But then in a month's time, we did use 1 or 2 sittings of chemo, but then there were no side effects, and along with ozone, IV nutrition, this dog healed beautifully and could be released. So this was a very beautiful case, very challenging case. This is a recent case that I am handling right now. His dog, Blackie, who's got an oral melanoma, and it has metastasized to the lungs also, because he came to me when he was already suffering from this for almost 2 months. And if you see that that entire melanoma inside the mouth, and he was not able to eat. He was very dull, depressed. He'd gone through one sitting of chemotherapy. They had given carboplatin, and he was like very, very dull, depressed, not eating, salivating, in a lot of pain. And then they thought that we don't want to go through chemo because he's probably not able to tolerate it. And they came to us, and then we started with the treatment. So when he came to us, if you see the chest, that was on 11th Jan 25, and if you see the metastasis, almost 80 to 85% of the lungs are completely full. And then this is on 5th of Feb, and you see there is so much of a difference. And the metastasis has really gone down a lot. If I show you his video, does this play? Can we play this from there?
This is Blackie.
Yeah.
He's trotting. If you see, he is walking nicely, trotting nicely. And he has melanoma metastasized to the lungs, and his lung is almost 80% full of the cancer. And if you see, he can run nicely. His mouth is closed, there is no breathing difficulty.
So he's 8 years old, Cocker Spaniel. And when he came to me, he was actually open mouth breathing, and it was difficult for him to breathe. And he was drooling and salivating and not able to eat. And in almost like 2 weeks, he was able to walk and run and pee and poop properly, and he was eating properly. And the metastasis had decreased quite a bit, and the open mouth breathing had gone. And he was so active, so they were very, very happy with the progress, and even we were very happy with the progress. So we are still working on this, and hopefully we should be like, I don't know, I'm just keeping my fingers crossed. This is another dog, Panda, who came to us. If you see the entire swelling out here, okay, this is a big tumor, and I had to operate this. This tumor was there for almost 6 months is what they told me, and then slowly it was growing, and then they got worried and they came, and then by that time it was like so huge, and I had to operate this, and he went through like a 7-hour surgery, and it almost weighed like 1.1 kilo 200 grams. And so initially I thought that maybe I should remove the skin also. And then I realized that the defect is so big that how do I close it? So I had to actually like peel off the skin from the tumor, and I had to do a plasty, and this is how it looked when we operated. And that is on 1st, so we operated him on the 11th of Jan, and this was on 1st of Feb. If you see, like almost 15 to 20% of the graft got accepted. But the rest of it did not get accepted. But if you see that the skin is started forming out here, and the dog is doing absolutely fine. In fact, the very second day, that dog, can you play the video? And this is on the very second day, and the dog was very happy, and he is eating, he's happy. This is what I like about animals. They are just amazing. This is how they are on the very second day after a 7-hour procedure, and there is no remorse whatsoever. So yeah, because I thought it was just 15 minutes, so I've kept like very limited. Thank you so much. Of course, we are seeing a rise in cancer cases, so many cancer cases that are coming to us more and more, and people are wanting alternative therapies, integrative therapies, and mostly because they cannot tolerate chemo so much. So I'm very happy I have learned all these therapies, and Ozone makes a hell lot of a difference for these animals. So thank you so much. Okay. Thank you.
Dr. Komal, for sharing your wonderful experience. Let's have the next lecture. People, are you guys aware? No feedback. Are you aware? Yes. What we are doing here? Yeah, listening. 2 more lectures left. Okay. Now moving on to the next lecture. The next lecture. Alright, let's give a spin. Very good. Kya baat hai? We are having lots of prizes. So in the house, let's see. 2 more. You can expect your name, huh? Everybody's name is written on the pen. Let's use the 7th luckiest person. Spin the wheel. Alright, stop. Dr. Hemal Asher. Absent? She went? Alright, on behalf of her, yes please. In India we call Jo Hazir Wo Wazir. Yes. A big hand. Alright, let's hit the next spin. Stop. Dr. B. Venkateshwarlu. Alright, thank you so much, Vishal sir, for the great effort. This is in ozone therapy with osteopathy by Dr. Ankita Delia. She is MBBS, MSc, osteopathy diploma in craniosacral therapy. Dr. Ankita heads the osteopathy department at the Sri Sri Wellbeing Center and is the president of the Sri Sri Tattva Center of Healing Arts, Bangalore. She holds a diploma in neurokinetic therapy, is trained in PDTR from Mexico and is a Ayush certified yoga teacher. My God, that's it? Okay, let me complete it. She is practicing art of living teacher and believes strongly in the power of meditation. Alright, so please, over to you.
It's quite, it's been a long, tiring day, so just few little cases we want to highlight with the gift of ozone that Dr. Millie has given. See, we talk about integrated and holistic healthcare, and for me, so I work with osteopathy. So to tell you briefly about what osteopathy is, whenever we use these words, because the word osteo means bones, a lot of people say, oh, achha, okay, it is for bones, you work with the back, you work with the knee, right? Osteo means osteoarthritis, is it? Or sometimes say, oh, is it physiotherapy, is it chiropractic? So it's a totally different field that was started by Dr. Andrew Taylor Still in 1805, who himself was a doctor, and he realized that, there's something little more needed for complete patient care, which is why we are all also here, because we know that something apart from our mainstream field that we are doing, we want to integrate and add on. So osteopathy is a manual basis of diagnosis and treatment of a variety of conditions, and it follows certain principles which focus the interconnectedness of anatomy and physiology. So a structure guides the function, and function is why the structure is such. Because we chew a lot, we have more incisors and molars rather than big canines, because we are not doing raw tearing like how a lot of carnivorous animals do. So this is how a lot of things are there. This is one example why we have a particular structure. So one more small example I'll give you. A tiger's roar is so loud that it is said that we can have a nervous breakdown if a tiger roars right next to us, full roar. But why does a tiger does not die with its own roar? That's the function of the stapes inside us. It doesn't kill us by our own shouting. Even for us, if I shout and it is so loud, we are hearing this mic feedback and we are doing, but if I shout and my own voice doesn't bother me, it's because of this technique. So on and so forth. So the structure and function, they guide each other. The role of blood flow, establishing blood flow, lymphatic flow, releasing the fascia for tension release. These are few of the techniques we used. So for me, I was working with these techniques, but how Ozone added on is few of the cases I want to show here, and along with a little bit on the yesterday, because Dr. Sudha had mentioned a lot about the vagus therapy and the chakras, so just a little thing I'll mention in the end about that. So there's just a few things we integrate, but so this is one lady who came to me with, so I'll show you, this is the Elizaro, however it's pronounced, I can't pronounce it ever, the surgery that was done for her to straighten her femur when she was born. In 27 years, she has had these scars, and her knee would be completely extended. She couldn't fold. In fact, Dr. Millie has met her, and I had asked her, can I actually put injections around these areas? Is it okay? So I was working with her scar tissue, and I was not really able to open them fully. I would get a little result, and she was highly sensitive in those areas. She would have burning after the release. So thinking that, okay, we can desensitize the receptors there like we do for pain in the knee, I put some prolozone injections just underneath the scar, and then I worked on it, and this is what we achieved in 2 sessions of scar release. If you look at the picture on the left, yeah, I'm a little off with right and left. Yeah, so the before and after. Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, this is the one? Yeah, so this is the before, but if you look at the scars there and then you look at they've really opened up. And see, the scar for us is not about cosmetic value, it helps with the functionality. So her knee was completely extended. After this, she could at least bend it to about 35 to 40 degrees, which is a big thing for someone who has absolutely never really flexed their knee. So this was one. Then another case was this person, he's a singer, he's a performer. We can all see the Bell's palsy, facial nerve palsy. We know, okay, thand laga, there was a freezing, some exposure, and in 2 months to 3 months with vitamin B, with steroids, with certain particular medications, the natural reversal with exercise, it will happen. For him, he's a singer, and it was very difficult for him to go on stage like this. He said, people don't want to, we have a video of this, can you, so for him, after 5 months also, his face was completely, asymmetrical with one eye closing, and when he would sing, he was not able to sing because the throw of voice was not coming. The buccinator, the blowing muscle is also by the facial nerve. Such a good video I have of him. Yeah, this is the before one, so it's on this screen. Yeah. So see, if you notice how he is, so I made him do that. He very graciously agreed. He came to me saying, my career is over. I can never go on stage. No one will allow me to sing at their weddings with this face. And exactly 2 days. So 4 months, nothing has happened. Like maybe little changed. I used to tell him, okay, try taking your tongue and push. Nothing worked. Exactly 2 days after, we have a second video. So I gave him. So again, we'll see this and then we'll tell. So little deformity is there, but it's a marked difference. So again, for him, we work with osteopathic techniques. We have certain, like the PDTR we mentioned, we work on recalibrating nerve receptors in the body. So we worked with that, but also what I did was, that's what I'm telling you. So we worked with nerve receptor techniques. So we have certain particular techniques which the PDTR, proprioceptive deep tendon reflex. In fact, I don't know who was this biohacker who had come on Beer Biceps very recently podcast. He mentioned this technique. And I am actually the only Indian who's registered on their website who's learned it from Mexico. So we work with recalibrating nerve receptors. So all sorts of bag receptors, chain receptors, Ruffini, Pacini, Meissner's, Krauss. So it's through kinesiology and through particular stimulation and a deep tendon reflex. So I worked on that with around his, every single facial muscle had something, and we gave a little bit of ozone, of course rectal ozone I was giving him, and some injections around the wherever the plexus is, the ganglions of the facial nerve are. And then in 2 days, of course, with the release in that, the combination worked like that. So it's more about that. The combinations work like that. This was again with herpes. So the herpes again, it gets ophthalmicus. We work with the ophthalmic branch of the trigeminal nerve. And same along with ozone injections and this and rectal. So the clearance was literally in 6 days. Usually it takes a while. The clearance was really, really quick. And again, so I don't think there's too much of time. But another thing that we focus on with all our cases is working with the vagus nerve. And vagus we usually see as, the autonomic nervous system as sympathetic and parasympathetic, which means what? A fight, flight, fear mode and rest and digest mode. But that's not how we are operating all the time. A healthy body is a balance between rest and activity, and the ability to be able to go in the sympathetic mode when we want and to go back to the rest mode when we need. So polyvagal theory states that it's not the activity and rest mode, there are hybrid states. There are times when we are, so the vagus is not one, it has 2 branches, the dorsal and ventral. And the ventral is for social engagement, making us feel safe. Dorsal is like the old one, the hibernating mode. When we sleep, we are immobilized. A full freeze mode is a dorsal vagus response. There are hybrid states which exist, like I can be feeling fully safe but have a full sympathetic response, which is when I am playing a competitive sport. Then again, when say we are meditating or I am watching something really beautiful, you are with your loved one, you are cuddling, hugging, at that time it is a dorsal with a ventral stage. So you are rested, you are relaxed, your vitals may be a little low or high depending on what you're doing, but there is extreme safety. So we work with these modes and all the vagus stimulation that we do. So again, these are the modes of the polyvagal theory. So again, meditation, cold water bath, even just gargling, singing, when you chant something or you just do however besura it might be, the vagus still gets stimulated. Out breath is the breath of the parasympathetic nervous system. So even if we just do a little focus on the out breath, any pranayama, we were mentioning Anulom, Vilom, Samulsan, the out breath is longer than in breath. Most of the Shitli, Shitkari, all relaxing pranayams focus on out breath. Energizing pranayams, Bhastrika and all focus on in breath. Because incoming breath energizes and outgoing relaxes the body. So a lot of focus we do on Brahmari, gargling, all these increase vagal tone. Of course the gut, we talk about the gut-brain connection. So this one little small thing I'll tell you, I still have 2 minutes. So, the gut-brain connection that we talk about, it is technically 100% the direct highway or pathway between the brain and gut is the vagus. The only cranial nerve, 11 of 12 stop at the shoulder. The only one, it's called vagus from vagabond, a wanderer. That is what goes all the way down to the belly and supplies, it's the parasympathetic supply to every single organ of the body. So again, if we are stimulating the vagus, we are indirectly definitely treating the gut. The 90% information from the vagus goes from the belly to the brain and not from the brain to the belly. Only 10% is down. So if I am working with the vagus, I am definitely improving what I am doing with the gut. Of course, the other pathways are the cytokines. Latest 2018, they found even the bacteria being found in the brain tissue. So those are there, but the vagus is a very direct entry to working with the gut-brain axis along with whatever diet and all that we are doing. So, and this is something because it was mentioned yesterday, we have very recently launched. It's the light and sound therapy. So Roscoe is a company in the US which makes exact frequency reflectors. So we get that particular frequency of light to reflect on the chakra, which reverberates with that. And in Hatha Yoga, Pradipika, it is mentioned certain particular instruments reverberate with particular frequency of the chakras, and then a lot of them are not hearing frequency. So we found certain ragas when played with certain instruments get a particular frequency. We got them recorded, and 20 minutes you hear those 7 chakra sounds and lay down on this. Brilliant results we have with people. So these things, they are not a full-time treatment, I would say, but they act as a catalyst in whatever we are doing. So mainly it is a lot of thanks to Dr. Millie and Dr. Jignasha for training so many of our doctors, and all of them with whatever they are doing, they've integrated ozone, and these are the results that we are having. So thank you very much.
Lecture is on Understanding Food as Medicine by Dr. Kiran Patel. Dr. Kiran is postgraduate in clinical nutrition from UK. Dr. Kiran is a health coach and a nutritionist with a holistic approach towards diet. She has been practicing functional nutrition for about more than 2 decades, where the approach is healing with food and bringing about a balance in the food. She makes tailor-made plans as required and based on the practical conditions and lifestyle of the client. While making the plans, she considered thyroid imbalance, cardiac issues, gut imbalance, stress factors, etc. By taking a look at your life experiences beyond the plate, functional nutrition believes that food is cure and can help you make better choices. Let's hear it from Dr. Kiran. Dr. Kiran, over to you.
Believe that food can cure and food can heal. Yes, correct. It can be poison or amrit, and we need to figure out ourselves what is the right food for us, rather than following Instagram, rather than following Google information. Your body talks to yourself and listen to it. Very, very important. How we make programs for people. Why is it important? Donate in Hinduism, ek muthi khana denge. So it will fill somebody's stomach. And what we eat is muthi. So make that chew, chew, chew and chew. I think I do have some sessions with people sometimes, and we make them chew. And that ek muthi, it can at least become 2 muthi and maybe half of what damage we're going to do. Second, list the nutrients. I want 40 nutrients to avoid too many IVs. I want to be in preventive state. I want to have all my nutrition. And what we do in this muthi is we will first add some time pass food, some chips, and kids do that today. Especially we as parents dictate. There are people who've never eaten a samosa and they don't get that high because very simple, they don't have that taste. So parents dictate the taste of children, and when we decide, oh, this child will like something sweet, or if I have to give this particular food, I have to change its composition for it to be edible. No. You just give natural food to children, and trust me, you'll be surprised. I have a 2-year-old child drinking spirulina and enjoying. Next is having homemade clean products. Nothing can beat my home food, and it's the most superfood that we can make, and we can put effort to that. What is superfood? How does the food become super? Is by using the right kind of oil, right kind of salt, and right kind of ingredients. This is what happens when we say, okay, we decide our ingredients. It's a very practical, common, sabke ghar mein hota hai. Somebody like me has asked you to improve your chromium, start eating bee pollen, start having cleaner salt, better salt. With all the groceries come and it's just lost in the house. And then when we have a second session, oh, ye to aaya hi nahi ghar pe, I don't know where it is kept, I had ordered it, but it's misplaced. So organizing. When I go in my kitchen, I'm going to be very creative. I think that is a place wherein as Indians we can create anything. And we have the most wonderful food. And it doesn't happen because things are not in place. Now, हर दिन का एक ही सवाल है, आज क्या खाना बनेगा? And we don't plan.
when a plan is made, there are a lot of saviors. I think we talk about insulin resistance, but there is something called family resistance in every house. Yeah. So what you do is, this is what I've been doing for years. I'm the gunda of the house. And I actually empower people to become that. Plan. Sit and make plan. You know, we plan trips, we plan life, we plan so many things. But I think just this is very, very life-saving. I even take consideration of each individual in the family has one day, their favorite food. And we try to make it healthy as possible. So they are all prepared, my cooks are prepared, I am prepared, my ingredients are there, and it's a very, very easy life. There's no impulse buying happening, there are no shocking things happening in the house. It's an effort, but it's all worth it. Stitching time saves nine. This is something which everybody is happy in the house. And there's a, what do you call, kitchen closure in my house. 7:30, do what you want, you'll not get food. That is their problem. We've told them. Zomato, Swiggy, वो app भी delete किया. Now I have at least in my phone, I have who will enter my house. So, reject. I told you I'm a gunda. Next is a very important puzzle, and that's where I'm a fan of Vipul sir because he explained this. How do you meditate and find out? A simple thing. The biological need to eat and the emotional time pass that we all do. And just celebrate these small wins. Like, you know, today on this particular holiday, I did not indulge in something that was damaging to me. I made people write down these things. I'm here at a conference, I'm so proud of myself. It's Ekadashi today, I did fasting, and I'm fully like in my energy. And I celebrate it as a small win that I did not indulge in a lot of food. I saved those calories. Small wins could be even making something healthy for the family. Small wins could be this week I could exercise. Instead of saying what I couldn't do, if we start writing what I could do, I think it will just multiply everything in your life. At home, I have a Gujarati husband who's very demanding when it comes. We only think of food. So small win is when he agrees to fast, or when he agrees to skip a meal or choose a very, very healthy meal. And from, I would say, 25 years of being married, I would say 20 years we have a lot of positive growth here, as in we are on a similar page. Okay, no, this is gone. So, yeah, that is also what happened. Yeah, fasting. So how we decide for, like as in hunger emotion, training your mind. So constantly training yourself is this is food and this is not food. Avoiding, like today I did not choose that packet of chips. My job would be to appreciate myself and say, wow, I escaped this. Or when you see things like there are biscuits around and you want to eat them and you did avoid that, that's a win. So in my clinic I have small books and we train people. Food, not food. Food, not food. So I actually even give them example. The cow will not eat some egg or mutton or something, and a dog will not eat some grass. So we humans are far more intelligent and we can really train our mind to decide food and not food. So especially for children, like I do have young mothers with children coming and we actually say, this is not food, this is not food, this is not food. If the world demands healthy, these things will disappear. Internationally, we are thrown a lot of, our country has been loaded with a lot of processed food and they are actually adapting our healthier habits. I don't see anything damaging in an Indian thali. In fact, we have coriander chutneys from the very beginning, and this is a natural chelator. Coriander will take away all the metal toxins, but now the toxins are so much that coriander doesn't work. This is one of my patients. I actually even have patients stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. This is stage. They have been to mostly all the resorts and finally learned. This is little obsession. And there are some patients when we ask, okay, what did you eat? And send a picture. And especially the young children, they don't understand vegetables. And when we ask, oh, what did you eat? It's rice and vegetables. So you want to see the rice and vegetable? This is it. Rice and vegetable. So understanding the balance is very important. Rice is also important, vegetable, but how? So we have boxes where we teach how would you imagine and visualize a portion and have correctly. We categorize meal plans very widely into two, is insulin resistance and maybe nutritional imbalance. But before anything, and this is what I learned from integrated therapies and all that, is fix the digestion. If somebody has fungal infection, they will thrive on salads. And if somebody has bacterial infection, they will die on salads. So fix the digestion is very important. Clearing the infection is very important. And I'll just have one slide. I'm making a practical plan which is doable. So insulin resistance will be low carb, and the other supplements. And I don't know why this slide came, but you have complex families and you have complex meals, so figure out what works. It is more important to digest the protein than to have the protein, and most people don't digest. Improving nutrients is having variety. Sometimes go for shopping, good vegetable shopping. There's a happy, what do you call it? You know, your aura is there when you buy these vegetables, touch the vegetables and get it cooked. So you pass energies to your own energies to your food, and make sure whoever is cooking in the house is very, very happy as a person. Refrain from using plastic, foils, microwave, non-stick, aluminum. We are all trying to detox, but this is something, figure out and see how it ruins your nutritional value of the food. I actually had a long conversation, and I'm wanting Dr. Billy to come to my clinic because I have something very important for her. Using toxic vessels, however good your food is, if you're using non-stick, if you're using aluminium, it is all going to kill the nutritional vibration of your food. And we have a lot of things that you can start with, just surgical steel, earthen pots. I think when we have all these PFOs through the toxic utensils, there is no way and nothing can detox that, and we die with that. This is passed to the generation next, and they will be very chemicalized children. I don't know what to do about that, but a little effort from each and every one of us to use clean cookware, very, very important. I think our children don't deserve chemicals. Our universe doesn't deserve any more chemicals, and this is the least we all should be doing is restricting plastic and removing toxic material from our kitchens. And I think simple Indian food is fairly a good balance if we're talking most Indians here. That's about it. I think I'm over my time, sorry about that. Change everything is
I allowed this question because it's for kids. Otherwise, I have not allowed any question.
So, the best way to tell somebody to sleep in right time, eat right, is to do it by yourself. So, the first example, mother, you think that, okay, nahi sunenge, but there will be a time, be patient, they will listen to you. But for that, you have to make sure that they see what you eat.
So it starts with you and your husband. It starts with grandmoms, grandfather. Okay, now next and last lecture for today is, it's not a lecture, it is kind of an awakening for you. We do so much of work, but still in the world or in India, people do not recognize us as that we are making difference. Okay? So I requested my MBA PhD nutrition friend to tell him tips from the MBA part, how to create our own brand and how to make us present ourselves as something what we are doing. So it is a, you know, kind of a, many of you have created your brand, many of you are already doing, but many of you who are not getting that right, you know, the anchor for it, you can take it from him. Over to you, Dr. Sajjan. Tomorrow I will introduce you properly. This is...
I hope I'm audible. Thank you so much.
And you have only 10 minutes.
I have 12 minutes. Okay, finish it 12 minutes. Thank you, and I'm fortunate enough to be the last speaker of the day and a chance to wake up everybody. Who needs to sell ourselves? Do we need to market or sell ourselves ever? We may be a retired government officer, we may be a doctor, we may be a husband, wife, son, brother. We all need to sell ourselves. I need to sell myself to my 40-year-old wedded wife every week to give her some surprise or the other. I need to make myself relevant to my patients. I need to make myself relevant to everybody in my life. And all of us do. So all of us have to be marketeers. All of us have to be salesmen. Otherwise, we will not succeed in achieving relevance in our life. Relevance can come from two things. One is a blue ocean strategy and one is a red ocean strategy. What is a red ocean strategy? I'm sure people who studied marketing must be knowing. The red ocean strategy is that we are running our clinics and our practices and we are competing with 100 other clinics in the city. So we are fighting wars. Somebody will come and tell me, so-and-so is doing this IV for 6,000 rupees. Why are you doing it for 7,000? So you'll cut your price down. So there is a price war that happens. When the war happens, you cut each other's throat. When you cut the throat, you start bleeding. That is called a red ocean strategy. So everybody is trying to cut each other's throat and bleed each other, and that's how the competitive world sustains. The next strategy is called the blue ocean strategy. Blue ocean strategy means that you are the only one selling in that area. There is no competition. You are the only clinic, the only brand, way ahead of others, way different from others, and that's how you can command your price, you can command your brand, and you are the only one that is doing it. So no competition. In my case, not being an MBBS, not being a medical doctor, yet from 3 patients a day, starting a company in 2020 at the age of 60, 3 patients a day to 30 patients a day. How do you achieve 10x? From X to 10x, how do you go there? So, I'll quickly, so it's all about making the difference in life.
I was at the airport when a taxi driver approached me. The first thing I noticed in the cab was a phrase I soon read, duck or eagle, you decide. The second thing I noticed was a clean, shiny cab. The driver well-dressed, white shirt and well-pressed pants with a tie. The taxi driver got out, opened the door for me and said, I am John, your chauffeur. While I'm putting your luggage away, I'd like you to read on this card what my mission is. On the card was written, John's mission, to get my clients to their destination quickly, safely and economically, while providing a friendly environment. I was impressed. The interior of the cab was equally clean. John asked me, would you like some coffee? Joking with him, I said, no, I'd rather have a juice. He immediately replied, no problem. I have a thermos with regular juice and also diet juice as well as water. He also told me, if you wish to read, I have today's newspaper and also some magazines. As the race began, John told me, these are the radio stations I have and this is the repertoire they play. As if that wasn't enough, John even asked me if the temperature of the air conditioning was good.
So what is he trying to do? He's trying to make a difference. There are hundreds of cab drivers driving the same cab, charging the same amount of money, but this guy is making a difference. He is actually the blue ocean strategy. He is the only one of his kind who's offering all the facilities which we can offer to our patients, sometimes it makes a difference. Small example, last week I had a patient in my clinic who had come with her husband, and while they were taking their IV, they were talking to each other about that it's the birthday of the child and they need to go back home quickly, so can you finish the IV fast? I said, okay, fine, we'll try to, accommodate whatever we can. They got home in about 1 hour and a half after the IV was finished. They paid their money. They reached home and they found a cake at their house, happy birthday to their son. And they were so touched. It was just a 500 rupee cake. The point was not the cake. The point was that I overheard their conversation and made a difference. How can we make a little difference in the lives of the people? So to be a great marketer, you need to develop a marketer's mindset, which means to be curious. Yesterday I met Dr. Zach Bush last night, and he taught me this thing about why, how I have been there, I know something that you do not know, and a success story. These are some hints, small, as Dr. Billy said, just focus on small tips. So discipline is not about perfection, but about continuity. Your consistency in terms of handling your patients or your clients or your husband or your wife or your children. My son is now 35 years old living with us. Every second, third week or second, third day, I will do something that is special for him. Either have a special dish cooked in the house. Why is it relevant for me to do it? Otherwise I'll become a boring dad. So I'm always relevant. He's always looking forward to what is dad going to do next. So that is what is relevant. It's about continuity. It's about continuing the same thing. Also, it's not about the load that you carry, it's the way you carry it. Many of us feel that we are overburdened with too many patients, too much work. We're always seeing clients from morning to evening, and therefore there's no time. It's about how you carry your load. That's the important thing. So, the customer or your patient or your family should evaluate the cost of not having you in your life. If I'm away from Delhi for 3 days in Bombay and my family does not miss me, I'm not relevant. We're talking about creating relevance. You create a value proposition that what will happen if Sanjay is not there? Then what? If you really miss me, then yes, I have value. So you create the value that price becomes secondary. Then you can demand whatever price you want. You can ask for 10,000, 15,000, 50,000 rupees. Nobody will question because you are making a difference. Story always changes perception because it's all about stories. The patient believes the story because you are giving the truth. I believe creating stories changes behavior. If I can create stories, I will become a great marketeer. I have to become a good storyteller. And of course, story drives behavior because story sticks to the human brain. And that's what establishes a connection. Stories are always centered around the patient's lives. Humans buy from humans. Put your story in the most humane manner because it touches the system. Also, this is a very interesting slide. I made this because a few years ago I saw the word wellness and the word wealth. Wealth is nowhere in the dictionary, it's nowhere on Google. But wealth is a combination of wellness is the real wealth. So, being well is what we are marketing. But there must be a why. Why are you doing this job? Or why are you doing this particular practice? There must be a what and there must be credibility. Until you are speaking the truth, you will not have credibility, people will not believe you. If your true intent is to heal, money is a side effect. Your client will buy your story if you are truthful and your intent is to heal. And intention comes from credibility, which comes from the brand and following. We know that word of mouth is very important. I was telling Dr. Sipia this evening that one satisfied client leads to 3 more. If you have one happy client, he was asking, why don't you do any publicity? Why are you not on YouTube? Why you don't have Instagram? And still, why are you successful? So what marketing am I doing? Nothing. I'm not on any social media. Yet, I don't have time. My next appointment is now 30th March. It's that kind of booking. How do you do? It's called overbooked, being overbooked. One satisfied client leads to 3 more. Every day, I have 3 references from somebody that has gotten well and that goes back home happy. That has created magic in their lives. One dissatisfied customer leads to 9 more. So the most important tip is do not let a customer go dissatisfied. If he's unhappy, do whatever it takes, do whatever level it takes to make him happy, but just make sure that he goes back happy. You don't send back an unhappy client because that is really negative. These are the surprises we talked about. You gift little book, gift little IV free, you have, you give us some, something or the other you give to the patient. One more thing, I realized I had a 70-year-old woman who come to me about 6 months ago, and she said, I'm really sick, and I'm getting old. And I said to her, I said, look, pretty women don't fall sick. And handsome men do not get ill. They just go off track. And she said, you find me pretty? I said, yes. I hugged her. And I said, look, you are the most beautiful woman in the world. And my first girlfriend when I was 18 years old was 95 years old. So you can be my girlfriend. So she was so happy because she was lonely. She got a chance to talk to me for 1.5 hours, which I gave to her. Important thing was that she had someone to listen her story. And that started a healing process. I said, you cannot go before 100. You will live 30 more years. So I gave her the confidence. She's been coming to me for now months and months together, and her parameters are all at least 50% better. So get them to feel confident. You generate confidence in your client. It's the biggest marketing. You don't need to go on social media. So this is what we talked about. You're selling yourself to your kids, to your spouse. Every day you're selling. These are all techniques which we all know about. So we don't need to understand this. A little bit about what we are doing in Delhi. Small books that we've written. And we talked about the cognitive longevity. It's a book which I've just written and just finished. That's about it. Thank you so much. Exactly 6 minutes, 6 seconds short of my time.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sanjay. So, idea is to be persistent and disciplined, right? Continuity. Continuity is the main message. Relevance and okay, so I request Dr. Alok Sharma and Mr. Manikam to come here and felicitate our speakers. Hello? Haseem? Is Dr. Sandeep Haseem here? Okay, no. Dr. Manoj Kutari, please come ahead and take a token of appreciation. Dr. Manoj. Sandeep Haseem is not here. Dr. Sameer, just look now. Sandeep is there outside.